Hello. Let me get my camera adjusted here while I wait for people to get on. My first one, now I need to go live on TikTok. Hello, one person is here. Who do I have on YouTube? Let's see. Is that good? No one. Anybody here? Got 3 people. 3 people. All right. So far on TikTok, I'm going to talk about everything higher self hypnosis and past life hypnosis. So send me any questions you have about past life and higher self hypnosis. And I have some really interesting stuff I want to share with you guys about some recent sessions that I've had with some recent client higher self hypnosis sessions. I'm going to see if I can't do this. I don't mean to be ignoring YouTube. Hi, guys, on YouTube. I'm going to be sharing higher self hypnosis session information. I'm going to move my TikTok people over by my YouTube people. Okay, because I want to make sure that I'm kind of sort of looking at all of you at the same time. So I've had some really interesting past life and higher self hypnosis sessions lately. So I thought I might start by just kind of sharing some of that with you guys, but let me know. Hi, Mina. What are your gifts? I'm not a psychic. I have intuitive abilities, but I don't do psychic readings and things like that. That's not what this is. This is to learn what higher self, people's higher selves have said to them and how they can change their life and heal their life and bring healing to themselves. But it's not to find out people's individual things that are going on in their lives. That's not what I'm doing in these lives. You'd actually have to have a session with me, a higher self hypnosis session with me. And that's where you get to hear directly from your higher self as to questions like what's going on with you. Like, just for example, let me give you an example, because today I just finished a really interesting session, and her mom is a narcissist and her patterns, right? Her mom is a narcissist and her ex-husband of 20 some years was a narcissist, and he still keeps harassing her. Her ex-husband is harassing her and dragging her through court. Their narcissists are really, really good at breaking us financially, siphoning our energy. I mean, they're just ruthless. I'd really love to know anything, said Dimensional Infinite. Yes. Listen up. I'm going to share lots of stuff. I was hoping my daughter would be here because you guys, if you've been on my lives before, you know my daughter Cherish comes sometimes, but maybe she'll join us. She's out skateboarding and hanging around with friends right now. Okay, so this woman that I had today, if she's listening, hello, but I won't say her name, of course. I always have permission, by the way, to share my clients' sessions and what happens in them, as long as I don't give out any identifying information. Like, of course, their name, where they live, where they're from, their town, or anything like that. So everyone signs a waiver so that I can use it for teaching purposes. Thank you. Love your content. Thank you. I have a few people here on YouTube. So she has a mother who's a narcissist and an ex-husband who's a narcissist. And like I said, her ex-husband is dragging her through court and trying to just make her life miserable. So we asked a lot of questions in her session about that. But just in case you guys haven't heard, if you go to my website, wokelightworker.com, I do have a gaslighting, manipulation, and narcissist class coming up December 6th. Really super, super low cost, and you'll get the replay for it. So, so make sure you head over to my website, wokelightworker.com, so you can sign up for my gaslighting, manipulation, and narcissism class. I have been putting a lot of time and effort into not only studying more from the psychological side of things about narcissism, but I also have firsthand experience of being with a horrible narcissist that ended very tragically for me. In case you don't know my story, I'm going to share it in that class. It ends very tragically, how that relationship ended. Then I actually had a boyfriend in college who was a narcissist, psychopath, sociopath. So that was fun. Lots of fun. But I've also been asking lots of questions in my sessions, especially as of late, because it seems like so many people who come to me for higher self hypnosis sessions are involved with narcissists. And I've been asking a lot of questions about them, like, do they have a soul? Are they just a shell? If you don't know what a shell is, you're going to want to definitely be in my class, because we're going to talk about shells, what shells are. Are they possessed by demons? If not demons, what are they possessed by? It's not always a demon, FYI. Are there dark entities, dark energies impacting them? Because what they're doing and how they're acting is not normal human behavior. So these narcissists, obviously, they don't act like quote unquote normal humans would act. I mean, they're ruthless. And also I'm going to talk about in my narcissist class, December 6th, if you go to wokelightworker.com and sign up, I'm going to be talking about what you can look for, red flags you can look for on a first date. What do you even need to be looking for early in on the relationship, and giving you some tools you can use to break the distance and try to break away from narcissists. They drain your energy. Yes, someone asked, do they drain your energy? The site, my website is Wokelightworker, all one word, wokelightworker.com. The same as my name on TikTok, same as my name on YouTube, same as my name on Instagram, same as my name on Patreon, same as my name on Pinterest. It's all the same, wokelightworker.com. You can register for my December 6th, really super low cost class. And guys, when I say low cost, I'm talking about I have already dedicated, oh gosh, many hours to studying about narcissism, learning about it from a psychological perspective, and dedicating a lot of time to it, doing sessions. Not only the fact of I will spend another good 10 hours writing the course. So when I say it's low cost, you guys are getting a bargain for all the time that I'm putting into this, so I can wrap it up in a nice little box with a beautiful little bow and give it to you guys in a really easy format and nice bite-sized pieces, and give you lots of information about not only what to recognize with a narcissist when you meet them, but how to break away from them. And if you're, oh, God forbid, trying to co-parent with one, what are some tactics you can use for that? She said, I had a best friend narcissist. I didn't know until she drained me. Oh yeah. Yep. So wokelightworker.com. Go register for my super exciting gaslighting, manipulation, and narcissist class. And then in January, everyone, I have my connecting to your higher self class. So if you're not going to do a session, I mean, doing a session is the way you get all the personal answers that you want for your life. Talking to your higher self directly. Oh my gosh, we ask every kind of question you could ever want. Like, what is my life purpose? Why did I come here? Why did I incarnate with this guy who's a narcissist? What do I need to do to get away from him or her? Right? Because there are female narcissists out there for sure. How do I get going on my path to learn, toward my purpose, why I even came here? So what do I need to do? All kinds of questions. Today she knew and felt like her throat chakra and her root chakra were blocked and really weak. And so her higher self went in and balanced and upgraded all of her chakras, and then gave her advice on what she can do to keep her chakras cleansed and cleared. And a lot of it can happen through meditation, right? What does higher self say about procrastination? Just don't do it. That's what my higher self would say. Just don't do it. Just go do what you need to do. Just kidding. Let me talk about that in a little bit. Why do I always feel that I'm not alone? Because you're not. Love your work. Oh, thank you. I'm good today. I am stoked and I'm pumped because I had a really good session. I love it when I have sessions that are just like full of all kinds of amazing information, especially when my sessions are really long too. So my sessions are all day long. So you'd never know that I just got out of working for 7 hours, like literally just finished. Did a little bit of paperwork, sent her session on a recording, all her follow-up homework. And then I literally grabbed a protein bar and sat down here to do this live. I didn't even have time to eat a real dinner. I have a chicken boiling on the stove, like a whole chicken. I don't eat meat, but my kids do. So I have a whole chicken boiling on the stove, and I apologized to it and I sent it love and I thanked it so much and asked for the trauma and any terror that it experienced to be transmuted into love and light, and just thanked it for providing food for my family. Anyway, having said all of that, I had it cooking on the stove because I'm going to make some chicken soup. And the thing has been sitting on the stove for like 3.5 hours, 4 hours now. I couldn't even add the pasta. I didn't even have time between doing her session and jumping on live. But I watch all of your videos. Yay. Thank you. I need to make another one today. But so procrastination, what does higher self say about procrastination? It's really going to be different for everyone. Like, why do you procrastinate? Is it just a distraction technique? Is it because you really can't keep your focus? So I would ask if you're in a session with me, I would ask your higher self first, why does this person procrastinate? Like, what's causing her procrastination? And the thing I would ask is, can you scan her brain, his or her brain, and see if there's any like loose wires? Yeah, I'm just using terminology we can understand, like loose wires or disconnected cables or anything like that that's causing anything like that in her brain, any kind of chemical imbalance, anything like that. Or what can you tell us about that? Maybe it's just that you have too much going on in your plate, you're too distracted with social media, things like that. But don't leave. Even if you're distracted by me, don't leave. Just stay. Don't leave me alone. So it really would just depend on what I would ask. And in my higher self hypnosis sessions, I just want to get to the bottom of why is she having this issue? What's going on in her life? Why is she having this issue? So if I read, I'm not really seeing any more. Hi, let me see. How did you get into hypnosis? Oh, Zoe Husky is asking, how did I get into hypnosis? And Angie said, I can relate to all of them. Yeah, because we're all one, guys. You can relate to all the sessions. If you look on my YouTube channel, and again, my full session videos, I have a number of them on my YouTube channel. It's under the name Woke Lightworker. If you type that in the search bar on YouTube, you can watch full sessions because my sessions are all done online. They're all done on video. So if you go type in Woke Lightworker on YouTube, you can see some of my full sessions. I have even more sessions on my Patreon channel. And guys, it's super low cost. I mean, it's like $22 a month to be able to see full sessions, but that's where I put all my newest ones. And I'm telling you, like $22 to be able to see all my newest sessions, which I consider to be like my best work. I do have a new session on my YouTube. Her name is Ingrid. So if you go look up Ingrid's session, she is one of my newer sessions, and OMG, if you haven't seen it, you will be blown away. It was crazy. And her reaction at the end, my video editor, I have an operations manager named Chris, and it looks like he's on here also. Hi, Chris. His wife does my video editing. She's amazing at it. And she had to bleep out a number of times at the end because YouTube is not very crazy about cussing. So she had to bleep out a number of times at the end of Ingrid's video because Ingrid was so blown away and so shocked by what happened in her session and the information that you can't even make this stuff up. Like, you literally cannot make this stuff up, what happened in her session and what was told about her life. She was so blown away and freaked out by it that at the end of her session, which I said again is on YouTube, it's the person's name is Ingrid. So again, go look at Woke Lightworker on YouTube. She was so blown away that she just started cussing like crazy, like, oh my, I can't believe this. So she was pretty shocked. It was pretty amazing. If you guys have not seen Ingrid's session, you got to go watch it. But I always recommend watch part 1 and part 2. Part 1 is the intake session. That's where I get to learn all about the person, all about their life. And part 2, and you want to listen to that so you know their background story. And that's where we put the questions together that we're going to ask their higher self. Because you can watch the hypnosis session, but it's not going to have nearly as much meaning for you if you haven't watched the intake session to know why they even are asking this question. You get to learn her background and her story and about narcissism there and like just crazy stuff, right? I say crazy as in just experiences, right? I don't mean crazy. But yeah, so watch part 1 and part 2 of Ingrid's session on my YouTube channel. Again, it's Woke Lightworker on YouTube. But again, on my Patreon, it's patreon.com/Woke Lightworker. And I have my newest sessions go out there and they're constantly going out there. That's my newest work. And just like anybody's, when you're practicing and doing anything, like my sessions keep getting way better. They just keep getting deeper and I ask more information. I'm going to share with you guys in a minute a really funny question I asked today just to kind of push the limits and see. And it had to do with this client's ex-husband who is a major narcissist who's harassing her like crazy. I'm going to share with you guys in just a minute. I'm going to pull it up on my screen. The question I asked her higher self. And I was like laughing because I was like laughing at myself that I even would ask such a crazy question. But I push the limit in my hypnosis sessions. I push the limit on what I can ask higher self. But now I don't only just work with people's higher selves. So like I'm saying, my sessions are just, they get different all the time. So like today in this session, now I take people, sorry, my neck is stiff. I take people up into the spirit realm and I have them watch their higher self in this like room and imagine this room. And that's where they see their higher self, like standing on a stage in front of a microphone. And then I ask, can I, after getting them super relaxed and we've already looked at a past life, right? And I ask, can I speak to this person's higher self? And I speak to the person's higher self. They come through and they're like, yes. But I also invite onto that stage. I describe the stage like this, like it looks like an auditorium and it's a light wood floor and there's a microphone in the center of the stage. But in the back of the stage, toward the back, there's a semicircle table and set up in a semicircle with chairs around it. And as the higher self lands on the stage, because they were like floating, and as the higher self lands on the stage, then you see a number of beings or people start taking seats in the back of where that table is. And that is your spiritual counsel. We've invited your spiritual counsel here to be here to help if the higher self needs any, more guidance or help with any questions, anything like that. We want to talk to the spiritual counsel. And we talked to Creator a lot and had Creator intervene a lot today. And I will tell you why we had Creator intervene today in this women's session, because our higher self could not do something. And there's some things that your higher self can't do. So we call in, I'll just say the big guns, right? We call in the spiritual counsel or call in Creator to do things. Because of course, Creator can do anything. Let's see what people are saying. I love your work. I'm a hypnotherapist too. I love doing this. Awesome. I love it. What is everybody else saying? I'm super excited for my session in 4 more months. Yeah, Latoya, hi. Yes, Ingrid was hilarious at the end, Leslie said. She was. Guys, you got to go to my YouTube channel, Woke Lightworker, and watch the session for Ingrid. Watch the intake. Thank you for the rose twin flames. Thank you. Watch Ingrid's session, watch the intake, and then watch her hypnosis session, because I'm telling you, it will make it even better. And I know it's really long. So just like plug your earbuds in, go walk your dog, drive to work, do it while you're cleaning your house or whatever, because they're really long. I'm telling you guys, like my sessions, it's like 3 hours in the morning. I'm with this person and I'm getting to learn all about them and putting the list of questions together. And then we take like an hour and a half lunch break because I have to make food for my daughter and I have to make food for myself. And like today I sat in the sun for like 15 minutes to do something for me because I have to do something for me too every day for me. So I sat in the sun for like 15 minutes and ate a salad that I made. And then we come back in the afternoon, and that's when we look at a past life. We will most of the time look at what you do in between lives, not all the time. Today, we didn't have time to do that because my client had so many questions she wanted to ask her higher self. There was no way we could look at her life in between lives, but we did see a past life, and it was a total typical like Little House on the Prairie life. If you don't know Little House on the Prairie, look that up, but total like Little House on the Prairie life, like could have been identical. And then I call forth the person's higher self. So they're under from start to finish in the afternoon. It's like usually around 3.5 hours by the time from me putting them under or getting them nice and relaxed. And then all the process in between. And then at the end, we usually wrap up for like 20 or 30 minutes, just kind of talking about everything and unwinding and reminding them to drink lots of water. They just had psychic surgery because we do psychic surgery in every one of my sessions where we're pulling all kinds of trapped emotions. Oh my gosh, she had so many trapped emotions she got pulled today. Sorry, guys. She had so many trapped emotions that she got pulled. So she definitely had psychic surgery. So you want to always drink a lot of water and treat yourself like you just had outpatient surgery, like for real. That's what higher selves have told me. You want to like rest as much as you can for a few days afterwards. I mean, obviously if you have to go to work, but come home and try to rest if you can. Stay away from negative people and negative influences because you're recovering. Just like if you had outpatient surgery, you're recovering. You're trying to get better. And so is self-hypnosis okay? Do you recommend any self-hypnosis techniques? Self-hypnosis is totally fine. I don't recommend any techniques because I don't do it. I wouldn't want to give you an answer. Smoked earth ceramics. I wouldn't want to give you my opinion because I don't have one. So if anyone else can help her answer questions about self-hypnosis, go ahead. But self-hypnosis is going to be more for things, as far as I know, it's going to be more for things like helping you reprogram your subconscious. It's not going to be for getting answers necessarily from your higher self, right? So if you want to learn more about connecting directly with your higher self, definitely go to my website, wokelightworker.com, and sign up for my January course. Registration's open now with early bird pricing. Connecting to your higher self, because I'm going to teach you guys how to connect to your higher self, how to hear from your higher self. We're going to work on exercises in the class to help you connect and hear from your higher self more. So you can go to wokelightworker.com and sign up for that class, connecting to your higher self. Let me see what higher self says about when we feel lazy to do grounding, shielding, and protecting more than once a day. Well, what higher self said that we should always be doing, like, I don't know if you guys, many of you probably already know, I wrote this journal, the Conscious Creator's Daily Journal. Create the life you want in just 15 minutes a day. Literally will take you 15 minutes a day. I have a course on my website called Create a Life You Want to Live. So if you go to wokelightworker.com, again, it's $11. I mean, come on, guys. Like, I put so many hours into that class preparing it, and I'm charging $11 for it. But it works along with my journal, which you can buy this on Amazon, the Conscious Creator's Daily Journal. And I get so many people emailing me all the time and telling me that they love this journal. I'll show you a page. It's got a page here where you can work on just lots of different things like grounding, shielding, cord cutting. And then there's a notes page on the other side. And then in the back, I have 33 pages of affirmations on all kinds of topics. And these are my affirmations. These are affirmations I came up with, not stuff I copied from someone else. But these are the ones I used for about 3 years to reprogram my mind. And I constantly had affirmations in front of me. So affirmations and positive self-talk, the best way to reprogram your mind. Does it happen overnight? No, it takes a little bit of time, right? Because we live on an earth, on a planet where there's time, and it takes time to do these things, right? But anyway, it does. So This is a tool for like 6 months that can help you. The Conscious Creators Daily Journal. It's on Amazon, guys. If you use this in combination with my class, Create a Life You Want to Live, which is on my website, wokelightworker.com, send me an email with proof of purchase of my journal, and I will invite you to my super secret journal group that's going to meet live the third Thursday of every month. And it's only 45 minutes. And what we're going to do in that group is we're going to encourage each other and motivate each other and share stories and celebrate wins of people using the journal, creating a life they want to live. Because my goal is to help everyone to create a life they want to live. You feel like, gosh, how do I get to my purpose? It seems so far away. Like I don't have the money. Like, how do I start my business? Like, you got to start at the ground level. Okay. You can't just go, oh, I want to have a business and I want to have a business now. Start at the ground level. You've got to change your thoughts. You've got to change your words. You've got to learn how to love yourself. You've got to learn these basic things that literally can take you only 15 minutes a day. So that's what my class, Create a Life You Want to Live, along with my journal, the Conscious Creators Daily Journal. Again, go to wokelightworker.com. You guys can buy my class for $11 and then work the journal. Send me an email. My email is on my website too. Just go wokelightworker.com. Send me an email with proof of purchase that you bought the journal, because it's only going to be for people to join this live group who are working the journal. Otherwise, like, that's what the purpose of the group is. You have to be working the journal. Getting motivated, keeping motivated so you don't procrastinate, right? So you work the journal, and so you work on taking that 15 minutes a day to change your life. And there's 4 things in here that someone just asked about: grounding yourself, shielding yourself, cutting your energetic cords, and cleansing or clearing your energetic space. Those are things you do every day. 4 must-dos every day. Like, so many people's higher selves have told me those are 4 must-dos every day. You're going to want to go to my website. My YouTube channel. Again, Woke Light Worker, all one word. Watch my video, the 4 must-dos every day. It's under my live videos. 12 minutes long. It tells you how to do these things if you don't know how to do them. Higher self says these are the 4 must-dos every day. You don't have to do them more than once a day. I mean, kind of just see how you feel if you want to do them more than once a day. I do cord cutting, grounding, shielding, clearing my energetic space minimum 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day, because I'm talking to people, doing consultation calls. I'm bopping in and out of my session with my clients and interacting with my kids in the meantime, or calling the bank, or whatever it is I need to be doing. So I always want to make sure that my energetic space is clear of all foreign energy before I go back and help my client and work with my client, because I want to be totally connected to my higher self, and I don't want to have any interference from any creepy crawler spiritual beings or anything like that, or anyone else's energy or cords that anyone else has tried to attach to me. I don't want that impacting my client session. Like, I put so much love, you guys. Like, it makes my eyes tear up when I think about it. I put so much love into my classes that I teach and into the sessions that I do with my clients. I really do. Like, my whole heart is in these sessions and in the classes that I teach. Right now, I just finished the 4th week of teaching my 4-week class called Spiritual Awakening Bootcamp. It is more of a beginner class. If you're just new to spirituality, that's available, or it should be available. I think Chris is here listening, my operations manager. We're going to get that available to purchase on demand. Oh my gosh, guys, that was so good. It was such a good class. And I can say that and not be bragging about myself. I really can, because I get all this information from my team. I am completely channeling as I'm writing the class, which takes me like 8 hours to write 1.5 hour class. I'm channeling it the whole time. And then we put it in nice, beautiful PowerPoint slides, so you guys have something pretty to look at while it's going on. But I am channeling the whole thing. And I'm just so grateful to my spirit team, who gives me all of this information to bring and teach you guys. They give me the information to bring to my TikToks and my videos on YouTube and Instagram. And I'm really thankful that I'm living my purpose. And so my goal of bringing this journal forward, this Conscious Creators Daily Journal, guys, is to get you closer to living your purpose too. So again, you can get this on Amazon and go to my website, wokelightworker.com, and find the class, Create a Life You Want to Live. Send me an email. Let me know you have the journal with proof of purchase, and you can join my free super secret journal group. And we're going to meet again the third Thursday of every month at, I think it's 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So that would be like 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, and just motivate each other and encourage each other and share small wins. I want this to be a place where you guys can connect with each other, brag about like, oh my gosh, I've been doing this and this is what I changed. And these are the changes in my life. But anyway, so let me stop going on about that. Loved the class. Oh, thank you. I thought the Spiritual Awakening Bootcamp class was so good. I thought it was so good. If you're newer to spirituality, I gave a really broad overview of a lot of things. And again, my January class, Connecting to Your Higher Self, is going to take it like that's actually the next step up. That's the next class. And Connecting to Your Higher Self is for anyone that doesn't feel like they currently are hearing from or connecting to their higher self. Then in February, I have a class coming up called Radical Self-Love. If you guys don't know, know that you 100% completely and totally love yourself, you want to be there, because so many people's higher selves have told me that if we could learn how to truly and completely love ourselves, we could heal everything wrong with us. Everything. Not that there's anything wrong. I'm using that word. Higher self doesn't use that word. But we could heal everything going on with us, mental, emotional, spiritual, because it will just change your life, change your world when you learn how to truly and completely love yourself. And I'm trying to keep my hands from fidgeting, so I'm holding on to this cute little, it's like ceramic, and I got this in Colorado. Isn't this cute? I was in Colorado for 4 weeks this summer, 3 weeks, and house sat for someone while I was working, doing sessions. And then I headed up to Wyoming. But isn't that cute? I love this. It's so cute. And it helps me not fidget so much with my hands. Oh, Chris is here answering questions. Yay. Awesome. Chris, you're the best. Guys, I have the world's best operations manager, and no one is going to steal him away from me. I own him forever. I'm never letting him go. He is amazing. Him and his wife are amazing. They are amazing, amazing. And he lives over in the Philippines. Him and his wife live in the Philippines. My virtual assistant lives in the Philippines. My web developer lives in the Philippines. Love it. I do have a guy putting some meditation music together for me, though, and he lives in the US. So I can't wait to hear what he's putting together for me. This Sunday, I'm going to meet with him and hear what he's putting together. So that'll be fun, because I want to bring you guys, I have so many ideas for meditation recordings, connecting you to your higher self. I want to bring all that to you guys. I actually have one. If you guys sign up, if you go sign up for my December 6th Gaslighting and Narcissism class, go to wokelightworker.com and sign up for that. One of the options, 3 options you can choose when you sign up for my class. One of them, there's 3 different prices. One of them is to get the class and the replay. The next one is to get the class, the replay, and my higher self, meeting your higher self meditation that I did. So you'll get that along with it. It's like a slight bump in the price to add on to that, to get that. So that was my first one that I did. And then the next level, if you buy level 1, it's the class, the replay, the higher self meditation, and a 45-minute intuitive coaching call with me. And what was really cool, I'm going to share with you guys a quick story from my session today. So this client bought that package to go to the narcissist class, and then she bought the package to have a 45-minute intuitive coaching call with me. And I asked her at the end of the session, I asked her higher self, so she has a coaching session with me. What do you want us to work on? What would you like to see happen in that coaching call? Because 45 minutes, it's not that long. We can get some good work done, but it's not a long, long time, not like sitting for, an 8-hour day with a client like I do. And I'm going to read the notes off my screen. Her higher self said, where is it? Do I even have the right persons up? I don't think I do. Hold on. No, I didn't. I had the other client from yesterday. Oh, Yeah, that was an interesting session I had yesterday, guys. I'll tell you about that one maybe a little bit. We'll see. I might not. So I said she has a coaching schedule session scheduled with me next week. What would you recommend we talk about or work on in that session? This is what I asked her higher self because she has a coaching session with me next week. And her higher self said, work more on how she can cope with a narcissist so that she can make better choices when she's making decisions. Give her coping skills. He is constantly trying to make her angry. That is what he wants to do. That's what narcissists do. Teach her how to not react and not give her energy away. Teach her how to hold on to her energy and not give it to people like that because he is feeding off of it. We're going to talk more about that in my narcissist class. He is getting stronger by feeding off of it. And that is what we do not want them to do. He is dimming her light by taking her energy. So we are going to work on coping skills and teaching and learning ways to not give him her energy. So I'm going to tell you guys in this gaslighting class that I have coming up on December 6th, again, go to wokelightworker.com to register, super low cost. In that class, I'm going to tell you guys a number of stories about why people are narcissists, what makes them a narcissist, because they exhibit behavior that is not normal. It's like over the top. And so I'll tell you what a number of people's higher selves have said, because not all of them are human in the way we think of being human, as in having a human soul. So I'll tell you some different things. And this is not stuff you're going to read in a psychologist book. Because I've taken courses on narcissism. I have been in group counseling and group therapy and individual therapy and everything else when I had a very traumatic experience after I was involved with a narcissist as my first husband, because I just wanted to get healed. I just knew that this could literally take me down if I didn't get healed from the trauma that I experienced from being married to a narcissist. So I was seeing 3 therapists at the same time, and I was going to like group therapy, group counseling, and a support group. And I will tell you, I sat around the table at the support group, and I literally could have swore that every single one of those women in that room and I were married to the same guy. Because I was like, well, how are you having the exact same experience as me? Like, this is really weird. This is crazy. Yeah, there's different levels of extremeness, but they're for the most part a lot the same. And so it was wild knowing that I wasn't the only one. But back then, so guys, I'm going to age myself here by telling you this, but that was in when was that? That was in 1998, 97 and 98, 1997 and 1998. I was like 5 years old. No. But that was in 1997, 1998 that I was sitting in that group with other women most of them were still in abusive situations. And no one used the word gaslighting back then. No one used the word narcissist back then. It just really wasn't really talked about or known then, which was very detrimental to me and what ended up happening to me, because it wasn't a known thing. It was just all called abuse. No one used the term gaslighting. And I just heard a funny story yesterday. It was interesting. So apparently the word gaslighting, does anybody know why we call them gaslighters? Does anybody know where that term came from? I just learned this yesterday. Does anybody know? No one's responding. Okay. What I heard, and I can't remember what the name of the movie is. I want to say it's a movie with Ingrid Bergman, but I can't remember. Anyway, I guess the movie had something to do with her husband changing or adjusting the gas on a furnace or a fireplace or something like that. And she would go over there and say, well, this keeps getting, adjusted. And her husband would be like, no, it's not. You're crazy. That's you. You're crazy. But he was adjusting it. He was adjusting the level of gas. And she kept trying to call him out on it. And he just kept telling her that she was crazy and she was making it up and she didn't know what she was talking about. So I guess, and that was a movie, right? So I guess that's where the term gaslighter came up with, because it was literally about adjusting the gas, and then he would just accuse her of being crazy and not knowing what she was talking about. And, she was obviously not all there to think that something was going on with the gas and that it was being adjusted when it really wasn't. So, as an empath, do you ever feel what the client feels as they recall memories during the sessions? No, actually, I don't. I don't. I can see based on their descriptions kind of what's going on and where they are. And my spirit team is talking to me the whole time when I'm doing higher self hypnosis sessions. And so they give me lots of insight and wisdom about what's going on with the client as I'm going through it with them. And then it's kind of wild. Like sometimes when I'm getting ready to do a session, I'll get like intuitive hits telling me what's going on with a client in their life and why they, this or that or whatever is happening. But I don't say anything to the client. I just kind of keep it to myself and go, oh, okay, that's nice. And then I'll have the session with the client and they'll be like, oh my gosh, like this is exactly what my higher self told me about this person. That's wild. And their higher self said it to them in the session. So like one guy, I think I might have mentioned this before, one guy I did a session with, he has little kids, and I was swimming laps in the pool the night before, and my higher self, just like out of the blue, it just dropped in my head. So I knew it wasn't me just trying to think about this stuff. But my client's higher self, I mean, my higher self was telling me, oh, the reason he has children is because he needs to learn how to play more and bring more play and fun into his life. And I was just like, oh, okay, right. I can see that. I was like, I could see that. I can see that. And then, so I go and do his session, and the next day I go to, because I didn't even know he had little kids, right? Like I didn't even know. I was swimming laps the night before, right? So I go to do his session the next day, and his higher self mentions, because he wanted to ask some questions about his kids, totally wasn't related to play. I think it was just like one of them's having a lot of accidents all the time. She keeps having all kinds of accidents. And we were asking, like, what's up with that? Why does her daughter keep having like all these like random accidents? What's going on, and what can be done to stop this? We don't want her getting seriously hurt here. So I think that was the question we asked. I don't remember what the answer was, but then his higher self said, yeah, the reason he has children is because he needs to learn how to play more. He needs to, become lighter and happier and spend more time with the kids and play with the kids. Like that will be really good for him. Their teachers here for him to learn how to do that. So I was like, oh, that was fun hearing that. I didn't know he had little kids the night before when I was in the pool, and it was really fun to hear that. So sometimes I'll get little hits like that, but other than that, I don't go around reading other people's mail or, doing psychic readings or anything like that. I think it's because if I did, I'd love doing that so much. I'd love doing like psychic readings, that I wouldn't be doing this and helping people get really specific answers from their higher self. Because when you guys do a psychic reading, no offense to anyone who does psychic readings at all, I love you guys. Like I get readings sometimes too. No offense. But the only difference is when doing this is you're hearing directly from your higher self. Thank you, DRM Feather, for the roses. The only difference is that there's no other person that any information is being filtered through. There's no psychic medium or psychic that is filtering the information through their brain and their, what do you want to call it? Symbols that they get from spirit, and then interpreting them and sending them out. There's nothing like that. So it's coming straight from your higher self to you. So there's no middleman, so to speak. So that's why I love doing what I do. But if I did have the ability to do like psychic readings, it would just be so fun to get people's reaction. And they're like, oh my God, how did you know that? Like, how could you know that? Ooh, tell me, okay, is my grandma around? Like, that would be so fun for me, that I think I would just like probably just walk away from higher self hypnosis. So the feeling that I get is I put like a block in my own mind, in my own like third eye, to not be able to do psychic readings. Like I said, I get like these little intuitive hits for my clients when I'm working with them, but not for anyone else, because I think I'd be so distracted by that and love it so much and think it was so fun that would take me off track from my purpose, which is doing higher self hypnosis sessions and teaching you guys all these incredible classes that my higher self wants me to teach and bring to you guys. So again, sign up for my Gaslighting Narcissist class, December 6th. Go to wokelightworker.com, and my Connecting to Your Higher Self course. It's 4 weeks long in January, starts January 10. So it gives you plenty of time to, get over Christmas and get over New Year's and all that before you take Connecting to Your Higher Self. Oh, sorry. Zoe asked me a little while ago, how did I get into hypnosis? And I'm still going to share the cool story I told you guys about. So hold on, I'll get to that. How did I get into hypnosis? I started reading lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of books. And I came from a Christian background. Like I always took myself to church, and the church I was going to for quite a number of years before I got into spirituality was a charismatic Christian church. So totally believe in healing, totally believe in like speaking in tongues, which is light language, right? And laying on of hands. So just like Reiki, right? So there was a lot of similarities. So I think it was like taking me from like my growing up years, going to Baptist churches and things like that, and really getting the foundation in Christianity. And then I found charismatic churches. Believe it or not, when I met my first husband, who was a narcissist. And again, I'll tell you guys all that story in a little more detail than what I've even put on my TikToks about what happened in that situation. It ended very, very traumatically. It's a wonder I even made it. I told you guys after the situation with him, and I will get back to my question again. I said I was seeing, it was either 3 or 4 therapists at the same time, plus going to group therapy or group support group. The one therapist looked at me, and it was a guy, and I'll never forget, like he was this tall, bald guy, right? And he looked at me after hearing my whole story, and he almost always exclusively worked with men who were in prison for domestic abuse. And so like me coming in was not his normal client. I don't even know. I mean, it was the universe how I got connected to him, because he really helped me. But what he said to me is like, how did you even make it through everything that you've made it through? Because most people would have, he didn't say this, but they would have offed themselves after what I experienced and what I went through. He's like, how did you even make it? Like, what kept you going? Like, what? Like, I'm just so curious, he said. Like, what kept you going? And this was shortly after it happened to me, and I was still in the midst of all kinds of trauma, because it lasted for a good 1.5 years, actual trauma, like living in a state of trauma for about 1.5 years. And with no release. That was challenging. But I said to him, and I was just bawling and tears were coming down my face. And I said, because I saw myself after what happened originally that sparked all of the trauma, lying in a gutter, like literally lying in a gutter, and like just like dirty rainwater and just sludge from the street, just like washing over me. And I knew right then that I had a choice to either get up. I'm going to cry. Okay, take the emotion out of it, Tracy. I'm going to either get up, or I'm going to lay in that gutter and I'm going to die. And there was no one else to pull me out of that gutter. It was up to me. If it was going to be, it was up to me, and I had to do it. And so I had a choice right there to either continue on after everything I had been through, or to lay in that gutter and just die. And I didn't choose that. I chose to keep going. Oh gosh, I did not mean to do that. I need to talk about something else, guys. Woo! Woo! Okay, let me take a drink of water. But you know what? I tell that girl how strong she is all the time. And I tell her how brave she is. And I tell her she's amazing for having gone through everything she went through. And then to be doing this kind of work on helping people. And this is not what I want to be doing on a live, guys, is crying. I'm so sorry. But we got to have grace for ourselves, right? We got to be the one to pat ourselves on the back, even if no one else does, right? We don't need anyone else ahead of us to be the ones to pat us on our backs. You can tell yourself all those things you wish someone else would say to you. You can do that, right? Thank you. Sending me hugs and love and light. You had a narcissist husband also. Oh gosh. And if you're just joining, you're looking at me going, yeah, why is that woman like bawling over here? Go back and watch the whole thing. DRM Feather, thank you for the rose again. You're so sweet. Okay, so I just told something really emotional. We'll just move on from there. You won't have to see me cry anymore here. Oh gosh. Okay, I gotta be careful what I talk about. Okay. How did I get into doing higher self hypnosis? Let me get back to that question. That's not going to be emotional for me. So yeah, I told you I was a charismatic Christian. We believed in laying on of hands. I was healed of 2 incurable diseases while I was a Christian. I just really, really believed that we have the ability to heal ourselves. Even when I was a Christian, I just knew, I just knew. And now I find out that my starseed background is Arcturian. So that makes sense that it's all about healing because they're big into healing. They're big healers from Arcturus. But I just always knew, I just knew that I had the ability to heal myself and that anyone could heal themselves. So I did while I was still a Christian, even a charismatic Christian, healed myself of endometriosis and what was the other one? Oh, Graves' disease, which is hyperthyroidism, not hyperthyroidism. So I knew that we had the ability to heal ourselves. So I think it was the next closest step to walking into spirituality. But I was also Christian, and my spirit team still brings up scriptures in my mind all the time to this day to speak to me because I was very, praise and worship, God, Jesus, all of that. That's my heart. I still go for walks with my dog. Even now, just even the last couple nights, I walk my dog in the dark. Thank you for the roses again. And I still go for walks with my dog and still listen to Christian praise and worship, like Hillsong Australia, Phillips Craig and Dean, Casting Crowns, Elevation Worship, different bands and music like that. And I just get completely lost in listening to praise and worship music. And I just look up at the sky and I look at the stars, and it's just like this attitude of surrender and just singing my heart out with them, whether it's in my head singing it or, even out loud. I don't really care because it's usually around 10 or 11 at night when I'm walking my dog anyway, and no one's outside, and I don't really care if they hear me anyway. And I'll just stop randomly and just raise my hands to the sky and just complete surrender and awe and love at Creator and His mercy and His grace and His love for me, for my life, for this planet, for everything I've been through. And so anyway, so that's my Christian background. Yeah, sometimes we're born into a religious family. Well, I wasn't born into a religious family. That's the thing. I took myself to church. I don't know. I just always wanted to go to church. My mom did send me to vacation Bible school when I was 5 years old. I do remember sitting in the front row, hearing these stories about Jesus and these different miracles he did. And I was just like a wide-eyed 5-year-old little girl with, blonde pigtails and just listening oh my gosh, this is amazing. I just wanted to hear more and more and more and more and more and more. So ever since then, I would ask my mom to take me to church. I always wanted to be in church. And we lived in this really small town when I was in elementary school, starting in 3rd grade or 4th grade. And it was a town of 500 people. So I mean, the town, if you blinked, you would miss it. So I would walk to church. There was a Catholic church in town, and all my friends went there except my best friend. She went to the Lutheran church, but all my other friends went to this Catholic church. So I was like, I'm going to go to the Catholic church too. So I got my first communion and catechism and all that kind of stuff. And I got to eat the little host. And I thought that was so cool and all that stuff, right? But I took myself to church, and I'd be at church every Sunday. I'd be at catechism every Wednesday, playing on the lawn of the church. That was the big thing. I wanted to go so I could play with all my friends, before and after catechism. But yes, I have talked to the Arcturians before. I'm going to actually get more into channeling them. They want me to channel them more. They want me to talk to them more. So I will be doing that. Don't know if I'll share it publicly, but I will be doing that for myself. We'll see. I'm just open to whatever spirit brings me. But I was the shy girl that when talks questioned everything. Okay, so I took myself to church, and then we went to a Baptist church for a while when it was like we moved out of that little town and I couldn't walk there anymore. So we moved, and I would beg my mom to take me to the youth group because I was a teenager then, and take me to a youth group so I could go to the Baptist youth group because I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And then when I and then during college and stuff, I fell away from it. I'd go to church once in a while, but I just never like reconnected with it. But I used to pray. I remember driving. I worked as a nanny, guys. Oh, thank you for for the 8 roses. Thank you. I remember I was working as a nanny, and the nanny job was for 2 children who were school age in the Washington, D.C. area. So they would go to school during the day. So I would go to college. I went to the American University in Washington, D.C. So I would drive to school, and then I'd do stuff in the afternoon when I got done with class, like clean the house. I would, clean the house, make the beds, do the laundry, take care of the dogs. Thank you for the 5 roses. Take care of the dogs, like, do everything. Kids would come home. I'd help them with their homework. I was like their little campfire girl leader and stuff like that. And then I'd make dinner and throw it on the table, and then I'd be done, and I'd like run out the door I was doing Taekwondo, and I was teaching aerobics and doing all kinds of stuff. But I'd be driving to class, and I would pray all the way to class and just talk to God and, pray. And I was just like, I'm not really sure how Jesus fits into all this. Wow, thank you for the butterflies. I'm not sure how Jesus fits into all this, but I know he's God's son, but I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be praying to him or not praying to him. I never really understood that part of it, but I'll just talk to God because I'm not really sure if I'm supposed to be talking directly to Jesus. So I would pray to God all the way to school, almost always on the way back from school, and just, worship him and tell him how much I love him. And then once I graduated college, I met my first husband, who was the narcissist, and started going to a charismatic Christian church. And I was like, wow, you walk in the doors and the praise and worship. I told you that's the thing that grabs my attention, my heart, the praise and worship. Like it just feels like it just overpowers you. It's just, you can just feel like the power and the love and everything in the praise and worship. And I was just like, oh, like blown away. So that's how I started going to charismatic Christian churches and became very, very, very close with the pastor of that church and his family when I went through the traumatic event that I did with my first husband and our children, who was a narcissist. And he was there for me. Guys, it's amazing when, I'm going to get emotional again. It's amazing when you have earth angels helping you out, because this man was there for me every minute. And I didn't have anyone else. Like my whole family abandoned me when my narcissist husband did something very bad. And my family blamed me and said, you knew he was abusive and you stayed with him anyway. And so all of this that's happened is your fault. And they all turned their backs on me and walked away, and I didn't have anyone. But I had this pastor, and him and I are still really close today, him and I and his wife and their kids. And I just love them. And I never, never, ever will forget how amazing he was. And I had someone, he was an earth angel. He still is. Anyway, gosh, guys, woo. And anyway, so I started going to charismatic churches, and then, but I was full blown. If you don't have Jesus in your heart, you're going to hell. Like I would just tell people, thank you for the rose. Ah, I didn't catch your name. Let me see if I can catch it. Yes. Sweetness 24. Thank you. I was working at a real estate office. Getting back to the question again of how did you get into hypnosis? This is a long story. Sorry about that. There was a woman who walked by my desk, and everything she said was so full of love and so full of light and just so wise all the time. And one day she walked by my desk and I said, Victoria, what can I read to learn more of what you know? That was all I asked, right? She was just living her life, being an example. So this is a good teaching moment too, guys. That is the main way you can help change people around you. We don't preach at them about spirituality. We don't push our beliefs, spirituality or any religion or anything like that, or any belief you have. We're not going to change anyone by preaching at them. I mean, everybody's got their own mind, right? But she was just living her life, being her light. And I saw it and I wanted to be like that. And she said, and I don't have it here next to me, guys, but if you want to know the name of the book, it's called A Return to Love by Mary Ann Williamson. And it's all about love. And it's an incredible book. Again, it's A Return to Love by Mary Ann Williamson. And I read that book. And from there, it just sparked a fire in me to learn more about spirituality. So I devoured everything she wrote. I devoured everything that anybody that she ever talked about, that she had heard or talked to or listened to or influenced her, Dr. Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra, like all kinds of spiritual teachers. And then they would talk about a teacher and I would go read everything they had. And then they would talk about a teacher and I'd go read everything they had. And it just sparked this fire. And I really just dove in head first into spirituality. Cookie said, I love that book. Yeah, Marianne Williamson. I don't necessarily agree with some of the stuff she teaches now and shares now, but that's just me. It's kind of more, that. Thank you for the roses. Oh my gosh, 8 roses on TikTok. It just seems to be a little more divisive than it used to, instead of more of a spirit of oneness. But, it's whatever. It's okay. I mean, that's her journey. It's whatever. But I absolutely love her work. I love her book, A Return to Love. And I actually got to meet her when I was in LA a few years ago. Well, this was probably like 4 years ago now. Maybe 5. Sorry, not sure. I was at a spiritual conference out there, the Conscious Life Expo in LA. And she sat next to me and I was like, there was an empty chair next to me and I was sitting in the front because I always want to sit in the front so I can hear everything. And I had no idea she was going to come sit down next to me. And I had literally just told my daughter, it would be amazing to be able to just talk to Mary Ann Williamson, I said. And then the empty chair next to me, all of a sudden she walks over and takes it. And I was like, no way. And I asked my daughter, I'm like starstruck. Like, what do I do? Like, should I just start talking to her? Maybe that would annoy her. I don't know. But anyway, I just reached over, looked over next to her, and I said, I just want you to know your book changed my life. A Return to Love changed my life. Like, that is what sparked my whole spiritual journey. So thank you for writing that book. She was very touched. She was very sweet, very sweet. She was actually trying to get nominated for the Democratic Party to run for president. And it was this last election. She was trying to be the Democratic nominee. And so she was there and she had just announced her intention to try to be able to run for the Democratic Party. And I would have voted for her in a heartbeat. I would have voted, and I still would, because she's very much about love. But it wasn't meant to be. And you kind of know, if you know anything, if you know, that nobody's going to be president, that the 1%ers don't want to be president. So she didn't have a chance, not in this timeline anyway. So yeah, 2020, that's what it was. So anyway, where was I going? Oh yeah. So this woman walked by my desk, told me that the book she recommended was A Return to Love. So I started just reading all these different books. And then I started joining. I don't know if you guys have heard of meetup.com, but there's all kinds of different meetings you can go to for all different topics. So I just got on there one day, I heard of it, and I looked up spirituality, and there were all kinds, because I live in the Washington, D.C. area, right? There were all kinds of spiritual teachers and groups and meetings. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I live in an area that's rich and abundant in spiritual teaching and spiritual teachers. Marianne said she needed more grit. Oh, she needed to be a puppet of the deep state in order to be nominated, but she wasn't. So that's my opinion, but that's just my opinion. Don't take it for gospel. What did I leave off on? So I joined all kinds of spiritual groups, and I was meeting all kinds of people in the spiritual community where I live. And I met this woman who I had an incredible past life reading from, and got to know her pretty well. And she taught some classes. I took a lot of classes from her. And then she said, hey, there's this girl, Allison, that I want to introduce you to, this other woman. And I think you two would hit it off, and I think you're supposed to meet. I don't know why, but I think you're supposed to meet. So next time the three of us are at the same place, because, we all kind of ran in the same circle then, right? So next time we're all three at the same place, I'm going to introduce you. So probably 3-4 months later, we were all in the same place. And I went up to her and I said, is that the Allison you were talking about? She's like, oh my gosh, yes, let me introduce you to her. So she introduced the two of us. And I asked Allison, I said, what is it that you do? And she said, oh, I do something called QHHT, quantum healing hypnosis technique. And I had no idea what it was, but something inside me, I call it a ping. Something inside me like pinged. And I was like, oh, that's for me. How do I know that's for me? I just know that's for me. Like, I don't know how I know that I know that I know that that's for me, but I just know. So come to find out later, that's called claircognizance, right? You just know things, like there's no rhyme or reason. You just know things. And we all are claircognizant. It's how much do we pay attention to it? Do we have other clairs that are more or less, strong in our lives? And I talk about clairs in my spiritual awakening boot camp. So if you want to know more about the clairs and how to use them and things like that, go to my wokelightworker.com and register for my spiritual awakening boot camp 4-week class. But anyway, so yeah, I looked into it, and I did take Dolores Cannon's first level and got certified. And then I did the second level. It was a bit disorganized for the second level, so I kept asking for the test to take the test, and I never got it. And I finally just gave up because I got so busy seeing clients. But I did do level 2. It doesn't show I'm certified in it because I never got the test. But anyway, so I did level 1 and level 2. And in the meantime, I am reading like crazy, taking all kinds of certifications. And then I heard a word called about a class that you can do, a study course that you can do called Theta Healing. It's THETA, like the theta brainwave. And again, I got that ping in my spirit, and it was like, you need to do that. And I was like, what? And it was, I don't even know what theta healing is, but I know I'm supposed to learn it. So it was like, okay. I mean, I didn't waste any time. I literally just got on my phone, Googled theta healing, and found a teacher in my area. And I was completely blown away when I saw who the instructor was. I was like, no way is this person the instructor in my area? Because back then you couldn't take theta healing online. Now you can, but you couldn't back then because it was before, what happened in 2020. And I'm not going to say the word here because then I can get monitored by YouTube. But so I was like, I put my request in and said, hello. So the teacher called me, and I'm like, oh my God, Victoria, is that you? It was the woman who 5 years earlier walked by my desk when I was working at a real estate office. And I said to her, what can I read to know more of what you know? And she recommended Marianne Williamson's book, A Return to Love. And she had gotten out of real estate and was now teaching theta healing. And I was like, no way. Like, this is crazy. Like, what are the chances? You were there to be the catalyst to lead me on this spiritual journey. And now you're the teacher, a master teacher, let me just say, teaching this on how to do this. Like, this is crazy. So anyway, it was amazing. And it was incredible how the universe worked, total synchronicity. And I ended up taking a number of theta healing classes. I just finished a few months ago, actually 2 months ago, I guess it was, an advanced level 1. And I have another advanced one in January. And I have a super advanced one for 10 days coming up in April. And my spirit team just has me keep doing more and more and more. And I'm thinking of actually now I'm hearing from my spirit team that they want me to learn how to become an instructor for it, which I never thought would be on my radar because I have so much on my plate already. But it is so powerful and so healing that doing the first 3 levels, I felt like I healed in me what it would have probably taken me 2 years working on my own to heal. It's so powerful. It's such a powerful healing method. So anyway, my guides just told me about checking into theta healing instructor training today, of all days. So I guess I have to look into that. So, and then I can bring it to everyone, but otherwise don't hesitate, go online. And the only thing I would recommend when it comes to finding a theta healing instructor, if you want to find one, is don't find someone who doesn't have a number of people in the class signed up already. Don't go if it's just you and the instructor, because some of these teachers got their teacher certification and they don't regularly teach classes because a big part of it is interacting with other students and doing practice. And to just do it with the same person all the time, it's not simulating you actually working with a client if you want to become a practitioner. And you just don't get that broad of an experience. You'll get a good one because you're working with the instructor, of course, but it's not the same as when you have a class of people and you're working with others and you get to vary it and move around to other people. So that's the one thing I would say. And then I would also say, how many times have you taught this? And get someone who actually has some experience with it. And they're not just like brand new off the boat. I mean, unless they're giving you a decent discount. Because you learn with experience, right? It's just the same as this, finding someone who does higher self hypnosis. There's a lot of people, if you go on the QHHT website, who I would say, this is my guess, but this is what I discovered in emailing lots of people who were listed as level 1 and level 2 people on there. 90+% of people don't practice. Like, they got certified and they don't do a thing with it, or they did like maybe 25 practice sessions or just like a few sessions or not very many. I'm just going to say you're going to get that level, right? So unless you're getting a really big discount, I wouldn't probably recommend it if you're looking for really deep, meaningful healing. It could be really fun for learning about other lives on other planets and things like that, but to get some really deeper healing. And that's why my spirit team had me take theta healing on top of learning QHHT, because my higher self hypnosis sessions totally involve theta healing inside of QHHT. But so right now, QHHT is literally just a shell. It's not very much QHHT, and the meat of it is theta healing plus tons of stuff that my higher self has taught me that I didn't learn anywhere else. And lots of other, I have so many certifications, guys, I don't even know. But so a lot of stuff I've learned from different certifications and teachings. And like I said, just a ton of stuff that my higher self has taught me on my own. So that's the long story of how I got into doing higher self hypnosis. But if you're interested in doing it, I would recommend knowing that it's your purpose, because otherwise you're going to be one of those 90+% people on the QHHT website who spent like $1,000 or $2,000 or whatever, and you're not doing anything with it. I mean, I'm going to tell you guys, having your own business, for anyone who has their own business out there, it is a lot of work. If you're trying to grow it, it is so much work, right? What is my profile in human design? I have no idea. I have no idea. I had a birth chart reading done, but human design, I actually bought the human design book once and I opened it up thinking I'd really love to learn how to do it and it'd be so exciting. And it was just overwhelming for me. And I shut the book and I returned it to Amazon. This was like probably 4 or 5 years ago. I was like, this is not for me. This is way too complicated for me. It was just over my head and it wasn't part of my purpose. So it would have been a distraction for me to learn it, but it'd be great to have someone do my human design. That'd be pretty cool. Just like it was really awesome to have someone do my birth chart reading. That was the first time I'd ever had that done. And that was so cool. And I think I gave you the guy's name who did it. Sammy Moog, Moog, I think was his name. But Sammy, he did an amazing job, incredible job. And if there's anyone else here who does birth chart readings, feel free to promote yourself in the comments on YouTube or TikTok. Go for it. Do you have a link to Theta Healing? No, just Google Theta Healing, Theta. Just Google it, Theta Healing. I can tell you guys the name of an incredible instructor for Theta Healing, though. If you want her information, you got to write it down, though, because her name is Beth Newman, and her website is Evolve in Your Energy. Or you can email her, evolveinyourenergy@gmail.com. So she is incredible, but I think she's kind of getting out of it. I think she might have one or two more, one more basic DNA. That's the first class you take. I think she might have one more and it maybe one more advanced Theta Healing class coming up. And then I think she's taking a break for a while in 2023, but that's my go-to instructor. Because my original instructor, Victoria, is not teaching it anymore. Which is a bummer because she's a master too. But Beth is amazing. If you guys contact Beth, go to her website, email her or anything for her Theta Healing class, please tell her I referred you. I love her to know that I send people to her, and I do regularly because I totally trust and believe in her. And she's really, like, her heart is in it. She's a very, very good instructor, and she will teach you very well. Like, I've had a couple different instructors and she is top notch. So again, Beth Newman at evolveinyourenergy.com. You can reach her, but just tell her Tracy sent you. Okay. Awesome. I do human design readings, said Amy. Oh, you should email me at tracy@wokelightworker.com and tell me like what you charge and what's involved, what the process is. Because like I said, I don't know anything about it. That'd be really cool. One of your videos says that we inhabit many souls. It was so different from the things which we listen. Yeah. Yep, that's true. You can have, now we don't inhabit many. Wait, one of your videos says we inhabit many souls. No, there can be many souls inhabiting our body. And that's not something that your higher self will just tell you normally, or your spirit team, because that would be a distraction for you and it could be very off-centering for you, right? So it's really a situation. Let me give you guys an example of many souls inhabiting, or more than one soul inhabiting a body. So I had a client who experienced a tremendous amount of sexual abuse as a youngster, like until she was like 15, I think, her dad. And it was full-blown sexual abuse constantly. And she didn't remember it. So I asked her higher self, why? And she's been diagnosed with multiple personality disorder for a reason, right? Because she knew she had multiple personalities living in her, because it was really obvious to her that there were more than one soul living in her body. And there was one soul that she called, I think she called that soul Sandy, if I remember correctly. Sandy is the one who, just imagine if you have a stage and, you know, there's a lot of the actors who are waiting to come on stage and they're behind the curtain, the second curtain. So the one who's front and center is the one on stage. And that's the one who's doing the talking, who's experiencing whatever it is. And the others behind the curtain, they're not they're not even privy to anything that's going on. I mean, if they wanted, they could eavesdrop, right? But they're busy like getting their costumes on and, chilling and taking a break and whatever. So the other soul named Sandy would come to the center of the stage and be the one who would take on and experience all the sexual abuse from her dad. So my client's soul actually never experienced it. Her body did. So when I did her higher self hypnosis session, we pulled the shock and the trauma from her body for the sexual abuse that she experienced. Because I think you've all probably heard of the book Body Keeps the Score, right? So her body was holding on to trauma, even though she didn't have any in her soul, her spirit, right? Wow, I don't remember my childhood before moving to California. It might be that, or it might be, you might be a walk-in soul, who knows? But so Sandy would be the one front and center. And Sandy was also the soul who, whenever there were like fun sexual experiences as an adult, Sandy was the one who was on the stage for that. So Sandy was like the sexual goddess being who inhabited her body. So she didn't feel it, but again, of course, her body did. So we pulled the trauma and the shock and the trauma from the body. But yeah, she can have, and then she had this guy, a man in her body, a male soul. I forget what his name was, but he was the angry one. Like he had explosive anger. And he was very protective over I think it was either 3 or 4 children's souls that she had in her body. And he was very protective over them. So if anyone ever did anything against a child or spoke against a child or anything like that, I think that's when he would like jump to the stage and like take center stage and like rage on whoever was, threatening the children that were inhabiting her body. So it was a really interesting session for sure. Really interesting session. But I told you guys I was going to share with you something fun from this hypnosis session they had today. So I'm going to look at my screen really quickly and share with you. Okay, and this is a woman who was married to a narcissistic man for 20 some years, and her mother is a narcissist. Oh gosh. Okay. So then I had a client yesterday. I'll share it in a minute because now I'm on another bunny trail. So I had a client yesterday or the day before who also had a narcissistic mother who was told, when you have a narcissist parent, because narcissists don't change, the only way they will ever change, I shouldn't say they don't change. They can. It's highly unlikely because a lot of them are not necessarily have human souls. It's probably about half and half that don't, but they're so shattered and broken as souls, right? But unless they take themselves to therapy, anybody else trying to get them to therapy, they're not going to do the work. It's just a show. It's a show to try to keep you as their energetic, narcissistic energy supply. Is not going to work. They literally have to be the ones to go on their own and want to change and want to heal, because it's a lot of work for a narcissist to do that healing, to come from that level and do that healing, that most of them don't do the work. They won't touch it. It's too much for them. It's too much. But she was told, my client, I think it was yesterday or the day before, was told, you can have contact with your mom if you want, the narcissist mom, but it should be nothing more than, hey, how's the weather? Like, do not share anything about your life with a narcissist, because that's where they get ammo. That's where they get energy. That's where they get ammunition. You don't share anything with a narcissist. Nothing. I'm going to tell you guys, like on my December 6th, I have that class called Gaslighting, Manipulation, and Narcissism. Go to my website, wokelightworker.com, to register, because it's December 6th. Super low cost. That's why I'm going to tell you like what to look for when you first start dating someone, what kind of things you're on the lookout for. And then if you find yourself with one, what do you do to get yourself out? Because it becomes a tangled mess, trying to untangle yourself from a narcissist. So it's better just not even get in their claws. And it doesn't matter how much You think they are just amazing and everything because that amazing side of them was just a show. It's not them. Okay. That's what we got to realize. It's not them. That was totally a show. It's an actor on a stage just luring you in. It's not really who they are. Yet we sit around and we wait around for these narcissists. I did too, waiting for this guy who every once in a while, or this woman who every once in a while pops their head out and shows how amazing they are when it's not them. Right? We got to realize that. Was married to an abusive narcissist for almost 10 years. Yep. She has a lot. I can't because, what do you, yeah, we were talking about multiple souls in one body, Jen. We were talking about multiple souls in one body, not multifaceted souls, one soul and multiple souls in one body. What is everyone saying over on YouTube? I think that's about it. Okay. My dad is a narcissist. Yeah. And so that's what her higher self told her. Do not talk about anything other than the weather, literally, like nothing involving you. You don't give them an energetic hook in you at all. Okay. You don't give them an energetic hook. You either cut them off completely, which is the best thing. But some people are like, oh, I can't, it's my dad. Well, I mean, my mom's got low key narcissistic traits on the spectrum, but she's not a narcissist. And I cut her out because toxic is toxic, right? I don't got room for toxic. I don't have time. I am too focused on my purpose. I do not have time for toxic. I do not have time for tearing me down. And so that I can heal myself again and keep building myself up after being torn down by my mother every time I see her. I don't got time for that. Heal it, get over it, send her away with love, be done with it, right? I just don't have time for that. That is such a distraction. These are souls just like us. Just because they're mom or dad in this life, I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Who cares? Don't mean to sound cold when I say it, but who cares? Really? I mean, they're just a soul just like you. You're going to go up in the spirit realm and there's going to be zero affiliation with them other than they're another soul and they're one with you and they're part of you, but they're not mom in the spirit realm. They're not dad in the spirit realm. You're not losing anything. You're not losing them. The only connection you have with them is the one you create in your head, right? Because you have this past with them. It's usually a trauma bond anyway, though. But anyway, that's just me going on a rant. Sorry. Life is miserable for me right now. It seems to be only getting worse. What can I do? Take my narcissist class next week, guys. December 6th. Go to my website, wokelightworker.com. I'm going to go through all of this. What are you going to do when you're involved with a narcissist or an abusive person or a gaslighter? Just because they're a gaslighter doesn't mean they're a narcissist. Just because they're manipulative doesn't mean they're a narcissist. But we're going to cover the spectrum. In 2 hours, I'm going to try to cover all this stuff and give you coping skills on what you can do. And particularly if you're like co-parenting with one of them. Ugh, yikes. That would be the worst, right? Okay. So let me look at the notes on my screen, guys, because I want to share with you a little bit about her narcissistic husband. I said... I was going to share with you guys, I'm going to share with you guys a funny question. I thought it was funny that I asked my client's higher self, just because I love to push the limits and see kind of what I can get away with when I do these sessions where I'm talking to people's higher selves, right? And sometimes I talk to people's higher selves and their higher self is like really funny. And we'll literally just kind of like, there'll be humor sprinkled in throughout the session. And I freaking love that. And I'll be like laughing. Like I did this one guy's session once and oh my God, I was laughing so much because his higher self was just hilarious. I love it. Okay. So here was the question I asked. Ready? So she's got a narcissist husband. The question I asked her higher self was, what needs to happen to get her ex-husband to completely leave her alone? And here's my question. Can the universe step in here? Like what's going on? Like, can you energetically tie ropes around him and tape his mouth shut and make his hands unusable when it comes to doing anything towards her or her family, business, or their kids? Or can you move her into a timeline where all of their affairs are settled and he is no longer in it? Or what does she have to do to move herself to a timeline where all of their affairs are settled and he is no longer in that timeline? I was waiting to see if her higher self would like be like, oh my gosh, we could never like tie him up. I didn't know. I just thought, let me ask, right? Let me see what happens. Let me just put a wild one out there, right? Put my Joker card out there. But her higher self said, this is what her higher self said. Her higher self said, yes, I could tie him up, but he thinks nothing applies to him. So no matter what, it would not work. Apparently he's, what is that magician that can get out of anything? What's his name? Houdini, or I don't know, whatever his name is. But no matter what, it would not work. He thinks he is above everybody and nothing applies to him. And then after a pause, her higher self said, oh, and I think I was telling you guys earlier, when I have my clients' higher self, when I call forth their higher self, I also, Houdini, yeah. When I call forth my client's higher self, I also invite their spiritual counsel now to be there. So if you guys watch my most recent sessions, they're always on my Patreon channel. So patreon.com/woke lightworker. You're going to see all my recent sessions. I bring the person's spiritual counsel there too. So if they need backup support, or, to kind of take it to the next level or ask for extra help, I ask the higher self, please feel free to turn around and ask your spiritual counsel to help at any time to help this person with their answers. So this is what her higher self said. I hear the spiritual counsel say, we are going to take care of this for you. We are going to put things in place to help you. Your spirit guides, your angels will all be helping you. And then I said, but does she need to be in surrender about this and not worry about it and not carry it as her own burden? If the spiritual counsel is going to be taking care of it, right? Her higher self said, yes. They are saying yes. Creator is saying yes. She has to act. This is the key. This is the key to everything, guys. She has to act as if it's already done, is what I hear Creator and her spiritual counsel saying. So act as if it's already done. But, all right. Then I said, can you connect her? Oh, sorry. Can you connect her ex-husbands? Again, this is my client who has a narcissist ex-husband. Can you connect to her ex-husband's higher self and see what can be done to break the connection between the two of them and for him to leave her alone, cutting all energetic cords and returning any soul fragments of hers that he may be holding, cleansed and cleared, return them back to her and tell us what that looks like. Her higher self, my client's higher self, said, no, he is refusing and shaking his head no at me. So this is why in my sessions, I do not just use the person's higher self, okay? Because the higher self wasn't able to go grab those soul fragments. And I've learned this in other sessions that sometimes higher self can't grab the soul fragments. So I said, okay, fine. Well, let's have Creator do it then. Go tell Creator we want Creator to go gather up those soul fragments and cut those cords and make that sever right there, sever it right there. So her higher self said, okay, oh, thank you, V Star 950 for the roses. Thank you. Her higher self said, okay, Creator took a knife, a sword, and cut it between us and cut all cords. Now he has our I asked about the contract between the two of them, if that could be burned too. Now he has our contract in his hand and he is setting it on fire. There, it's gone. It's burned up completely. Now he's walking away, not happy at all. Like he is miserable and sad. Oh, poor baby, right? Poor baby. Feel sorry for the narcissist. He lost his supply. Why can't higher self grab the other soul fragments? I don't know, but this is not the first person's higher self who has been unable to grab soul fragments if that person won't give them up. Our higher self can't go over there and grab them from him if he is refusing to give up her soul fragments that he's holding. So that would be anytime like he traumatized her. Um, our soul like kind of like fractals out a little bit and they can grab onto those pieces and hold them, right? Because like that's when we feel like, oh my gosh, I can remember that when that happened, that instance. It's like I'm frozen in time. I can still totally remember that happening to me. That is when a piece of our soul kind of fragments off, fractals off, and then someone else can grab it. So we always want to call in our soul fragments because we have the power and authority to do it. We can ask Creator if we want to make sure that it gets done. So, she said, OMFG, higher selves steal from other higher selves. What's that game where you can go steal other people's pieces off the board or whatever? I can't remember. But yeah, it's like that, right? I've asked for soul fragments back. I wonder if they're still holding them. My son just passed. How early can I do a session that can include him? Oh my gosh, there's no time in spirit. You can totally do it now and totally hear from your son. So yeah, people talk. In this session, her dad passed. The session I had today, her dad passed in 2016, I think it was. And she got a message from her dad today. In the session, I asked if he had any messages for her. So he did. That could help her in her life right now. I used to always say I'd call in what's in alignment with my higher self and the higher selves of just ask Creator to bring any soul fragments that you have back. But see, guys, the thing is, you got to visualize it. You got to see it happening. And I'm going to tell you why. Let me pull up this really quickly on my screen. I'm going to tell you why. When you ask for healing and when you ask for something to be done, you got to visualize it. You got to see it happening. Okay. And I'm going to, hopefully my screen will come up here. I'm going to read to you why you want to view that. And that's something I learned in theta healing, that there has to be a witness for any healing to take place. There needs to be a witness for any of these actions to be done. You want to visualize it. Okay. Don't just go like, oh, higher self, can you do this? And then just go about your day. No, you have to see it happening, right? Because like I just taught in my spiritual awakening boot camp. And again, guys, if you were not in my 4-week spiritual awakening boot camp, it's going to be on my website, wokelightworker.com. It was really good, really, really good. We covered so much. If you're fairly new to spirituality or you want to know more about it, oh my gosh, I taught, well, I wish I would have made it 8 weeks, but it was 4 weeks. But I taught everything I wish I would have known in the beginning of my spiritual journey. Like I would have been like so excited to get all that information in one format. And then I had really great Q&A afterwards. People were asking some really great questions and I stayed really late answering questions for Q&A. But I don't know where I was going with that. Lost my train of thought because my document came up. So let me read this. Okay, I said, what can she, here was the question from another client session. What can she or anyone else do to engage their higher self to perform healing for them, whatever they may need? Is there anything specific they need to do or know? And the answer was, they just need to ask. Part of the difficulty is understanding what the root cause is. But they can get the answers in meditation and through journaling. And if they don't know, they can still ask for help. You want to pull it by the root, okay? And the root may not be from this lifetime. So the woman session I had today, all but one of her trapped emotions, we pulled like 8 trapped emotions from her. There was like abandonment, rejection, anger, resentment, unforgiveness, some other things. All but one of them, the root was a past life that she had. And one of them, her higher self was really, really, really far back in her past lives. So what I did was I asked, because we didn't know if it was from a past life or it was from this life. So what I asked was that it be pulled from that past life and all the lives in between and pulled from this life. Let's say it was rejection and pulled from this life and sent to Creator's light, and then to have Creator send down a light beam of unconditional love and light all the way from her through all those lives to the back to the original past or other life that she lived where that rejection started. And then I took it a step further and said, hey, and by the way, as long as we're at this, why don't we have any ancestors of hers that would also like to have rejection or whatever emotion we were working on, pulled from them, sent to Creator's Light so they can be free of it, and then have that beam of healing, unconditional love and light healing sent to them too. And so we did that for several of the different trapped emotions, and a whole bunch of her ancestors gave up their trapped emotions that they were holding too on a soul level, because you can hold these things on a soul level. They gave them up, accepted Creator's healing light. And I said, so how did these ancestors react? And her higher self said, I see all kinds of smiling faces looking up at me. They're so thankful and so grateful that this healing was given to them. They were so thankful. Yeah, very cool, right? I was asked to go back in class, and I was in the 1800s as a woman. Remote view past life. Help. Yeah. I mean, you can look at any past life you want, guys. You can literally just set the intention in your meditation and go to a past life. But I would make it a past life, not just for fun. I would make it a past life like, hey, is there any healing that needs to be done to that person, to that fragment of me, that other me, that had that past life that we could deal with now, and show me what it is. And then let's get that healed and ask your higher self to heal it. But then again, you want to witness it. Okay, so here, listen to this. So I said to her higher self, could a person just ask their higher self to pull whatever it is by the root without knowing what the root is? Her higher self said, there is some level of self-awareness that is needed, because without that self-awareness, they don't really know if it's resolved. It's like pulling out a weed, but leaving the roots behind. It's going to be easier to have it resurface if you leave the root behind. I said, so it's important to get to the root. And her higher self said, ultimately, yes, because you might get rid of it like temporarily, just like the weed will be gone from your garden. But then you go out there a few weeks later and it's like, oh my gosh, like I thought I pulled that thing, but it's right back there again. Right? So you might be dealing with the same thing again. And you're like, gosh, I thought I healed this. Oh, I thought I healed this. I asked for healing on this, because you're not pulling it from the root. Or you're not believing in faith that you can get that healing, and you're doubting it and you're recreating it. Even if you pulled it by the root, you can recreate it. So I tell people in my sessions, you can undo everything you just got here today from your higher self by doubting it. I'm going to give you a plan to follow up after this session, and it's up to you if you do it. But if you follow this plan, you're not going to recreate any of this stuff. You're actually going to get way deeper, way deeper healing, and more expansive healing if you follow the homework that I give you. So I have this whole plan afterwards that like I said, my method keeps growing as I do this. And this is something I put in place maybe just like a month and a half ago, this homework. So anyone, it's on here. If you did a session with me in the past, email me and let me know if you want to see the homework, because it's not too late to ever start it, ever. So just let me know, email me. Tracy@wokelightworker.com. Okay. Is there any way to see those sessions after they're done? Everybody who has a higher self hypnosis session with me gets a copy of it. They get a copy of their intake. I record everything. They get a copy of their intake. They get a copy of their hypnosis session. And I am typing notes, because I used to be a court reporter for 14 years. So I'm a really fast typist. So everything that's said, I get almost every single word that my clients say, and I type it down. So you get all the notes afterwards too. Today, her session was 20 pages long. I typed 20 pages for her. That's how many notes you can have from a higher self-hypnosis session. That's not necessarily the norm. That was a really long one. I am unable to visualize. Am I a good candidate? No, you're not. Not for me. Sorry. Because you could be an okay candidate. Let me just say that. You could be okay. But if you're not able to see a past life, you're not going to be able to describe it for me. But you can still do the higher self hypnosis portion. And we could take it right into doing higher self hypnosis if you are able. So the fact that you can't visualize makes me wonder if you're able to quiet your mind though too, because you have to be able to quiet your mind in meditation and not have that doubting, self-sabotaging ego voice sabotaging the session. Because if you do, that's going to show up in my session too. So you have to be able to quiet your mind. How do you learn how to do that? It's practice, 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 practice. If it doesn't come naturally to you, then you have to practice. You have to make a determination that you're going to do it, because you can do it. So many people's higher selves have told me that, number one, there's no such thing as not being able to visualize. Everyone can do it. You put a block there, figure out what it is and remove it. That there is no such thing as you can't ever visualize. That's what higher selves have told me, way more than one person. So then you want to practice quieting your mind, because it's setting the ego aside and just channeling and hearing from your higher self. That's what you want to do, because you don't want to come to my session and be struggling trying to hear from your higher self. Like, I lead you through some really good exercises in the beginning to quiet your mind, really good stuff. But you want to practice doing guided meditations while you're awake. And I have some really good ones that I recommend on my website. Again, like, guys, I have so much on my website. It's wokelightworker.com. Click on videos, go to the bottom, and there are some videos that I took off YouTube. They're not me, they're other people that I really like, that I thought had really good guided meditations that you can practice with. The first one I would probably start with out there is called ECO Meditation by Dawson Church. And that one is 15 minutes long, and he teaches you how to completely empty your mind. So I would start there, but there's no such thing as not being able to visualize. If you do have that quote unquote problem, it's because you put a block there for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe you made a vow in a previous life and you saw like your mom getting the crap beat out of her, and you're like, I don't ever want to see anything like that again, because it keeps replaying in my mind, and you just shut off all that ability. I mean, I don't know why you have the block, right? It could be something from a past life. It could be from this life. I don't know. But you can do it, setting the determination, asking your higher self to help you, and practicing while you're awake, right? While you're awake. It doesn't do you any good to try it when you're sleeping, because you're sleeping. So while you're awake, you want to practice wake time guided meditations. But if you can't visualize now, you could do a session. But again, you have to be able to quiet your mind. You have to be able to quiet your mind. And again, that comes with practice doing meditation, and be able to hear your higher self, to be able to get messages and visions and things like that. And so you have to be able to do that. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get that in my session either. And again, that's going to come with practice. But you could do a session if you don't visualize at this point now, and you can quiet your mind, because we can go on feeling. So a lot of times, and we can even look at a past life with feeling. So, I mean, I was kind of exaggerating when I said you couldn't look at a past life, because some people get in and they're kind of nervous when they do a higher self hypnosis session, and they're like, I don't know, I don't see anything. And I'm like, well, what does it feel like? Do you feel like you're standing on grass? Do you feel like you have shoes on? Like, do your feet feel tight and constricted, or do they feel like, oh, they're not constricted, like they're open? Oh, I don't feel like I'm wearing any shoes. Okay. Well, do you feel male or do you feel female? Do you feel like you have tight fitting clothing on? Do you feel like you have loose fitting clothing on? So we can do a lot with feeling, of course. So you don't have to be able to visualize. It's better if you can, but you don't have to. I have done a number of sessions where we just had to go by feeling, because they told me in advance they could visualize. And then when we got there, all of a sudden they're like, oh, I can't see anything. So I just went off feeling. So it's totally fine. But let me see what else anybody says. Hey, Linda. Linda's there. Linda Caravia. Oh my gosh. Her and I do like the best sessions ever. I get so much good information. So we do sessions together like every month and a half-ish. And her sessions are so good. They're so good. We get so much good information. They're mind-blowing. Got a lot of really good information about narcissists in her sessions. Oh, Linda, I was just thinking today, that's so funny you pop on here. I was just thinking today, my spirit team gave me an idea, and it involves you. for another venture thing. It involves you. It involves your story that you told me about your life and your incredibly challenging life. Whew, that's a story, but I'll talk to you about it later. Um, Please read all my questions because it's super specific and I feel that it's really unique and okay, let me see what she's asking. East Coast girl, what is she asking? Let me see. The thing when I meditate, sometimes the space in front of my eyes, normal black space, and at times go into a blinding white light, and it will feel like I'm going to start watching a movie, and I get too scared. Right, you're in fear. And then I just open my eyes. Does what I'm saying resonate with what anyone else has described? Yes, you're getting in fear. So, how do you get over fear? You do it afraid, right? Don't stop. Like, what are you afraid of? Just tell yourself, I'm totally safe. So, what you want to do is you want to protect your space. Anytime you go into a meditation, you want to protect your space, guys. So, again, Conscious Creators Daily Journal. This is my journal on Amazon, guys. I'm going to plug it one more time. Create the life you want in 15 minutes a day. Go to Amazon and get it. Get my course on wokelightworker.com. It's $11 for my course. Create a life you want to live. It's a 2-hour class. Actually, it's like 2.5 hours, I think. But grounding, shielding, cord cutting, all of that, you want to shield yourself. You want to cut all cords before you go into your meditation. You want to shield, you want to ground yourself. You want to shield yourself, right? And so my video on YouTube called The 4 Must Do's Every Day. It's under my live tab. The 4 Must Do's Every Day. It's also on my TikTok profile, I believe, if you go on TikTok under my bio. The 4 Must Do's Every Day is going to walk you through in 12 minutes how to do all those things if you don't know how to do them already. But you want to protect your space and then just like, okay, for example, I go for walks late at night with my dog because that's when I like to walk and that's usually when I have time. So I put 2 gigantic angels on both sides of me when I go for a walk because I'm walking at night by myself. And I totally know they're there. Like I can see them in my mind's eye. Like I can see them. They're huge. And they love walking with me, by the way. But go ahead and put gigantic angels around and just set the intention that nothing that, unless it's of pure love and light, is allowed anywhere near you while you're meditating or into your space at all. So there's nothing to be afraid of when you're meditating. Ask your higher self to help pull fear from you. Where are you holding the fear? Ask yourself, where am I holding it? Oh, I feel it in my chest. Okay. What does it look like? Okay, guys, I'll teach you something really quick. Okay. I'll teach you something. If you think of that, let's use this example of having fear about going into meditation. Think of the happiest time you've ever had in your life. Okay. Or something that brings you a feeling of love like nothing else. Like, I just have to think about like my cat. Like he comes right up on my chest and like lays on my chest and wants to be just loved. And we're just sitting there just like gooey with love, right? So I think of that. So think of like a super, super, super happy memory, or think of like a time when you feel like, oh, just immense, immense love. Take that, feel that, like really feel that. Right? That happy, happy, happy time, or something that just makes your heart just fill with love. So really feel that. Then think about that other thing. Okay, the fear of meditating. Where do you feel that in your body? Where do you feel it? Go with the first answer that comes in your mind. Don't think about it. First answer. Oh, I feel it in my chest or whatever, right? Oh, I feel it right here. Like, okay. Take that feeling that you just came up with about the love or the happy or the joyful memory or emotion, and put that over top in your mind, put it over top of that fear or the anger or the bitterness or whatever it is that you feel you have trapped in your body. Okay. Put it over top of that and watch it completely in your mind. You got to watch this, remember, because you want to witness this taking place. For it to happen, you have to have it happen. Right? It's not just going to happen because you say, oh, go happen. You have to watch it happen. You have to make it happen. You make it happen with your mind. So watch it totally engulf, just like almost like it's dissolving surrounding and dissolving that fear with that feeling of love, and just let that feeling of love just get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and just totally overwhelm that fear until you see and feel the fear completely dissolve. And you can do that for any emotion, sadness, grief, anything like that, resentment, anger, bitterness, rage. Just be like, step away, go do that quick exercise to just, that's called transmuting energy. Guys, that is how powerful you are. You can literally take energy that's like really low frequency, anger, rage, fear, anything like that, and you have the power to transmute it. Like, you can change energy, right? It's still going to exist because you can't get rid of energy, but you can transmute it. You have the power to do that, right? I'm 1000% in love, except when it's almost bright light. New movie starting. Not sure what that means. Oh, I see. Let me see. Aha, my son just logged on. Christian. Hey, babe. That's my 21-year-old son. I love him so much. Guys, he's so helpful. Like, I never want to like not live with my son. I told him that. Like, he's so awesome. I just love him. Okay. And then East Coast Girl said, let me read your more. It's in the back right-hand side of my head, but I see sort of colors in the front of my eyes, and they rotate, or I don't know, weird movements of all different shapes in front of my eyes. But I could also draw an image of what's in my mind's eye, but it's in the back right space of my head. Yeah, not sure. I'm not sure if I understand, but I hope that helped. And that's how you guys can transmute energy. We're so powerful. I mean, gosh, if you guys could hear, if you sat in my chair and you could hear all these different people's higher selves every single day, telling them, everybody, this person, this client doesn't even begin to understand how powerful they are. Like, if she or he knew, it would blow their mind. And instead, we play small. And we let these things in life overwhelm us that, newsflash, are just illusions. I know they feel really real, you guys, but they're just illusions. You are just an avatar. Newsflash, right? You're just an avatar. You're taking this stuff way too seriously. I know it feels real. I know it feels painful. I know it feels like it really hurts, but I'm telling you, because this is many people's higher selves. We are just avatars. We're not even really here, right? There's a little fragment of our soul down here experiencing this stuff. This inside this avatar. This is an avatar. Okay? We take this stuff way too seriously, and it gets heavy, and we carry it, and it's like, I mean, gosh, people in the spirit realm must be going, oh my God, like, can she just let it go? And I will tell you, that is like probably let it go. That's 3 words. Those are probably the 3 most common words I ever hear in sessions. Everyone's session. Let it go. Let it go. We're not meant to carry this stuff. Learn how to let that crap go. I don't want to say the cuss word, but you know what I mean. Let that sheet go. Let it go. Wow, let it go. That's for me. It's all just a game. Totally just a game. My life has been so much easier since learning from your sessions. Oh, Taylor. Thank you. Why do some people as children have visions and dreams without being able to understand? Because they're only children as an avatar, but they're not children, right? So they're not a child. They might be way older than you. They may have had many, many more lives than you. My daughter, Cherish, many of you know from doing lives with me. Yeah, she's way older than I am. She's way older than I am. But I'm kicking butt in this life, so I'm like catching up to her. So the people hypnotized tell you all of this in their own voices. Yes, they do. You guys can go on my YouTube channel, go to Woke Lightworker on YouTube and watch my sessions. Or, like I said, my newest sessions are on my Patreon channel. And my name on patreon.com is Woke Lightworker. My website is Woke Lightworker. That's where you can go register for my Connecting to Your Higher Self class coming up in January. Right now, it's still early bird pricing. So you might want to get out there and get that. And then December 6th is my gaslighting, manipulation, and narcissism class. I'm going to talk about things you won't read in a psychologist's book. You won't read, because these are things from multiple people's higher selves that I've learned about narcissists. We're going to talk about what to look for, red flags, their patterns, their habits, and how in the heck do you get away from one? And how do you not let them constantly siphon your energy? Whether it's a parent, a neighbor, a boss, a coworker, a love interest, a former love interest, family member. Oh my gosh, right? They're everywhere. Or they may not be full-blown narcissist. They may just be a gaslighter, even though that's bad. Or they may be just a manipulator. Or they could be on the spectrum. They might have some narcissistic traits, like my stepmom. She's not full-blown narcissist, but holy moly, does she have some narcissistic traits? She's on the spectrum for sure, right? So that's not easy either. Like, yeah, that was a difficult one dealing with for sure. Linda, this is really powerful. Yep, alchemy, emotional alchemy. That's what we did, guys, when we took that feeling of love and happiness and joy, and we put it over top of the other emotion that's a lower frequency. We talked a lot about frequency in my week 4 of my Spiritual Awakening Bootcamp class that I just had. You can also find details of that on my website. I don't know if it's available on demand yet, but it should be in the next few days. That was a really good class. We talked about transmuting. I actually showed a different way there. A really awesome way on how to transmute emotions and to bring them to a higher frequency. So the idea is to take your lower frequency emotions and you want to raise them. You want to transmute them into higher frequency emotions, because there's something called the law of resonance. Okay. If you have a low frequency emotion that's in your body, let's say it's right here, well, this side, let's say it's right here next to your heart, and you're holding a trapped emotion of rejection, and it's being held in your body next to your heart. And it might not even be rejection you experienced in this life. That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't even have to be a trapped emotion from this life. It could be from past life, like, 50 lives ago, and you're still holding it, or you decided you were going to try to deal with it in this lifetime. So we carry it. Sometimes we skip over lives and then bring it to a different life, but sometimes we carry it in each life thinking, okay, maybe I'll deal with it in this life, and maybe I'll deal with it in this life, and then we don't. And then it just kind of follows us along like that ball and chain on our foot that we can't get rid of because we're carrying it. We didn't let it go, right? That's why we got to let it go, because we can carry this crap into other lives, and then we got to deal with it in another life. Just learn how to let stuff go, guys, right? But, so where was I going with that? I go off on these tangents and then I forget. That makes so much sense. I can understand why we do that. Yeah. Why do some people as children have visions and dreams? Oh, I already answered that one. Sorry. Do you think narcs have evil souls, or are they having that experience this life for development? It's both. And it just depends on it. So I'm going to kind of tell you guys in my narcissist class what to look for. And it doesn't matter if they are demon possessed or possessed by something else, or if they don't have a soul, or if they have a shattered soul or a broken soul. It doesn't matter. You're still going to treat and react to all of them the same. You are not here to fix them. You cannot fix them. You cannot fix a narcissist. The only one that can fix a narcissist, besides creator, of course, is that person. And the chance of them going on a path to fix themselves is very, very slim. It is possible, but it's very slim. Because they are egocentric. What that means is they do not think they are at fault at all. Like they truly, truly believe that nothing they do is wrong and they are not at fault. It's everyone else. And that's not an act. For a true narcissist, that's not an act. They truly believe that. They are egocentric. They truly believe that it's everyone else who has the problem and it's not them. And they are frustrated and angry at the world because everyone else has a problem and they're okay. Why is everyone else not like them? Right? Imagine viewing it from their eyes, not that you want to. But if you kind of put yourself in their eyes for just a moment, don't stay there, but just put yourself there for a second. And you view the world as everyone else is effed up and they've got all these issues. Like, why can't everyone just be like me? They don't see the fact that everywhere they go and where they create these problems, that the one factor that's always there is them. Like they don't see that, right? A normal person would eventually see that after like 10 times going, yeah, the common denominator in all these broken relationships is me. So I'm thinking there might be something going on with me. Maybe I should get some therapy, right? That'd be a normal person. But no, not the narcissist. The narcissist is like, oh, all these other people need therapy. I'm good. Like, I wish everyone would be like me. Why are you not like me? Right? And they will steal your energy and beat the crap out of you physically, verbally, emotionally, mentally for not being like them. Because again, they're egocentric. Nobody else is as good as them and they are always right. Linda said, not here to fix anyone. Yes. Oh my God. My mom was like that. I thought it was her mental illness. No, Linda, that's what it's kind of involving it is involving your mom. What my higher self told me that a project coming up is going to be. So remind me to talk to you about it. But yeah, we are not here to fix anyone. Guys, I'm going to tell you, I have some note cards in my desk next to me. And the one on the top says, these are my some affirmations I pull up. I am not the savior of anyone else. I am only here as a guide and a helper to help those who want to help themselves. That's it. We are not here to help or fix anyone who is not interested in being helped, because your most valuable things, I've said this before, are your time and your energy. Why in the world would you give your most valuable things to anyone who doesn't appreciate them or want to use them or see that they're valuable? Like, that just doesn't even make sense that you would do that. Okay. And you've probably never stopped long enough to think that you're giving away your two most valuable things that you could ever have, your time and your energy, right? This life on earth is short. It's really short. When you get to the other side, you're going to go, oh my gosh, that was so fast and so short. You're going to see that. And you're going to be like, oh my God, like, why did I waste so much time on people who were never going to change? Like, why did I do that? I could have been using my time and energy to do things I love, to do things that bring me joy, to do things that raise my frequency, to do things that raise the frequency of not only me, but the entire planet and helping planet Earth ascend. But no, you're over here trying to help this guy who's toxic as F, right? Change, thinking, oh, that guy who just threw flowers and roses at me and said everything I ever wanted to hear, he's there somewhere. I'm going to pull him back out again. No, he's not there. That was an act. He's not there. Nobody's home. He's not there, right? Not there. Stop giving your time and energy to these people. The only time, this is from higher selves, the only time you give anyone your time and energy to help them, change them, help them get better in their life. I don't mean help them move out of their house. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about help them in their life journey, right? The only time, 2 times, that's the only time you help them with their life journey. 1, if they ask you and they truly want help, they truly want to change, not the narcissist saying, okay, I'll change, honey, stay with me. That's not truly wanting to change. You guys know the difference. Your intuition can tell you they're full of crap. And the other thing that you do to help people change their lives is just by being an example and being your light and living your best life. It's not getting bogged down in other people's low frequency emotions. That's not how you do it. You don't change the frequency of yourself or the planet by being in low frequency emotions. And I got off on a bunny trail because I was talking earlier. I remember where I left off. I was saying, if you have a low frequency emotion, like say it's a rejection and it's here next to your heart, the law of resonance says that the organs next to it, around it, are going to match that frequency, and they're going to start vibrating at the same lower frequency. That's why we have to get out of these low frequency emotions. Oh, thank you for the hand heart. I love it. Thank you, Graces, 1830. That's why we have to get out of these low frequency emotions. Imagine you've got this low frequency emotion. Oh, thank you again, Graces, for the hand heart. That was awesome. You've got this low frequency emotion vibrating next to your heart. What do you think that's going to do to your heart? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that low frequency emotion and the law of resonance, your heart's going to start vibrating energetically to match that frequency, and you're going to end up with heart issues or lung or kidney or wherever it's vibrating by. Okay? That is how important it is that we get out these trapped emotions, that we transmute lower frequency emotions. Guys, I told you my background is Christian. 2 scriptures just came up in my head. One is, don't let the sun go down on your anger or your wrath, the Bible says. Okay? What that means, oh, thank you again for the hand heart. Graces, you're awesome. Thank you again. 4. 5. What it says is, don't let the sun go down on your anger. Ugh, I could tell you another gross story. That's number 1, because it keeps you low vibrating at a low frequency. But the other reason that I shared in my spiritual awakening boot camp, I shared this last night and they were like creeped out by it. The other reason is, and Linda, if Linda is still on here, Linda, this happened in Linda's session. We found out that there are like giant, like octopus looking things with all kinds of tentacles in the spirit realm. Oh, she's here. In the spirit realm that are above people's houses, that put their little tentacle down on all these houses that have low energy in them. Mom and dad just got in a fight. There's abuse going on. There's sexual abuse. There's this, there's that. And they literally suck the low frequency energy from those houses. Isn't that lovely? If that doesn't scare you into transmuting your emotions from low to high, I don't know what will. Tell the MF to go away, right? Well, you keep them away by not having low frequency energy in your house, right? Don't let it in your house. Or at least, let's say you have a house and everybody else wants to be fighting. Don't you be involved in that. Shield your room. Protect your room. I used to live in a townhouse. Okay, so we shared a wall with people on both sides. And I'm telling you, these people were not liked. Okay? I can tell you they weren't liked. There was crap going on both sides, right? I mean, the cockroaches coming through the walls from one house, until I got in touch with their landlord, tells you right there it wasn't high frequency, right? But I put shields up, ceiling, floor, walls, and I just fortified my townhouse so that those low frequency energies could not get into our house, right? You can play positive high frequency music. You can sage your house. You can let off love bombs. I've talked about that before. Just imagine that you've got a bomb made of love and let one off on every floor. But again, you got to watch it detonating. You got to watch that pink smoke fill the room and every crack and every crevice in your house, because love is such a high frequency, it will take everything out. And then I would let one off in the attic. and I would let it off in the attic. And so that anything, even any waywards or demons or anything creepy crawler that's in my attic would have to leave. Let a love bomb off on every level. Keep your emotional frequency, your energetic frequency, yourself as high as possible. I just taught you that trick on how to transmute your energy. Use that. There's other ways, you guys. I'm going to teach you more things in the higher self hypnosis and the higher self connecting to your higher self class in January. Go to my website, wokelightworker.com, to register for connecting to your higher self while it's early bird pricing. Then in March, I have a class on healing that you can heal yourself, guys, of everything. Now, the level of healing you get, that's going to depend on your soul path, right? But everything is healable to some extent, if not fully, mostly fully, usually fully healable. You just need to know how to do it. I don't think that's a real word, healable, but I love making up words. So we're going to go with healable. I crack myself up. Anyway, since I can't see anybody, I'm just sitting here talking to myself, cracking myself up. So we're going to learn how to transmute a lot more in my March class. We're going to learn how to heal all kinds of stuff, emotional, mental, physical. We're going to heal a lot of stuff in my March class. So make sure you're on my email list. Go to my website, wokelightworker.com, and get on my email list. Or you can go in my TikTok to my bio and join my beacons list. It's called Beacons List, and that adds you to my email list so you can be notified when my early bird pricing is open for my healing class. But that is going to be, we're going to work in that class. We are going to work on getting healing. Like, I'm going to teach you guys how to do the work. We're going to work on transmuting emotions. We're going to work on other stuff. So that's going to be a really intense class. We're going to do a lot of work in that class. But it would be good if you take my higher self class in January, because we're going to be working with the higher self in doing a lot of this healing. So it's kind of I have all my classes building on each other. I just finished the 4-week spiritual awakening boot camp. Then we have connecting to your higher self. In February, it's radical self-love. In March, it's healing. And in April, my spirit team told me it's called Let That Sheet Go. Live your life in peace and joy. How do you live in surrender? How do you live in peace? How do you live in joy? Because now we've learned how to connect to the higher self. We've learned how to heal. We've learned about self-love. Now we're going to learn how to let stuff go so we can live in peace, so we can have more joy. Okay. February is your B-Day month. Awesome. Your higher self and spirit team must be so proud of you. Holly said that. I did a session for a girl once, a young girl out on the West Coast. And when I got done, I asked her higher self if it had any messages for me. And I usually don't do that. I just felt like asking at that time. And her higher self said, yes, you need to get out to the public what you do, because it's life-changing and it's transformational and it's truly miraculous what can happen in people's lives when they do a session like this. And then her higher self said, and we're really proud of you on the spirit side. And this was the words, you are a powerhouse for Team Light. And I was like, oh, that was so nice. So I made that my affirmation. I was like, I actually just said it to myself like probably a week or so ago. I'm like, I'm a powerhouse for Team Light. Go, Tracy. And I don't ever say this in a bragging way, guys, because I know that all of this is my team giving me the information, my team giving me this opportunity, my spirit team talking to me, channeling through me when I do these sessions. This is not me when I do these sessions. This is my spirit team, my higher self channeling through me. These questions that I come up with, I don't even know where the words are coming from. They're just channeling through me. It's pretty cool. Yeah, Team Light. I know, isn't that cool? Who wants to be part of Team Light? Let's all be part of Team Light. But we got to learn to transmute these lower frequency energies, right? We got to transmute them so that we are light, because then we help ourselves, we help others, we help raise the vibration of the planet. Because if you're watching this, if you're into spirituality, you came here. Hello, your purpose. You want to know your purpose? I will tell you your purpose. Your purpose is to raise the vibration of the planet. It is to help raise the vibration of the planet, because Mother Earth, you came here at this time to help raise the vibration of the planet. You guys you might not even understand how big of a battle there is going on. I mean, you probably know, but how big of a battle there is going on right now between dark and light. Like boots on the ground. We are boots on the ground. We are here as boots on the ground. And you're not boots on the ground when you're getting sucked into a narcissistic relationship and you don't have the power of your own to get out of it. And you're sitting here wallowing in low frequency emotions, or you don't know how to cut off mom or dad because they're incredibly toxic and you stay in these low frequency emotions, and then you're constantly working on healing yourself. Okay, so here's the battle cry coming from me now, right? It's like you're just wallowing in this low frequency stuff. It's like, stop. Pick yourself up like I had to do, right? If you guys were here earlier in this live and you heard me talking about how that therapist asked me, "Oh my God, after everything you've been through, Tracy, how did you go on?" Like most people would not have gone on. They literally would check out. Like, how did you do it? Linda, my friend Linda on YouTube right now. I don't know how she did it. Guys, I thought my background was rough. Huh. It doesn't even, not that we're not comparing, but oh my gosh, you guys heard her story, you'd be just like shocked that there's even people that exist like that out there. Like, how do people do this to their children? And many of you probably the same thing. Like, yeah, how do people do that? How do people do that to their kids? Like, I don't know, but I hear it every day, guys. Every day. It just never ceases to amaze me. The lives that people go through and the trauma they go through. Oh, thank you, Grace, this again for the hand heart. And again, thank you. So it just never ceases to amaze me. But if we stay in that and don't realize we're avatars and this is all an illusion and we got to learn to let that go. Thank you, Graces. We got to, again, thank you. Thank you, Graces. 50% to my goal. You got me there. The hand hearts. If we don't get out of that, we're not doing what we came here to do. We came here to help raise the vibration of the planet. That is your purpose. If you're on this spiritual journey and if you're here now, that is your purpose. Read Dolores Cannon's book, The 3 Waves of Volunteers and the New Earth. You will see that is your purpose. I'm not making this up. I hear this in my sessions. Dolores Cannon did hundreds and hundreds of sessions, thousands probably, in 30 years. This is our purpose. This is why we came here. And you're not going to do it. I know I'm repeating myself, but you're not going to do it wallowing in victimhood. Oh, I'm a victim and this happened to me. Pick yourself up, pull yourself up, and get moving. Heal yourself. You can do it. We're going to do it. Join me in my classes. Join some other way. Just get your healing work done. Right? Love Dolores. Yeah. Yes, she's it all. She definitely opened the door. Oh, wow. Definitely. Didn't she? She opened the door for this kind of stuff. Crazy Cat said, I'm taking care of my dad with dementia. Then do it with love, right? Do it with love. Dementia, Alzheimer's, not sure that it's true for every single person, but what I've heard in some of my sessions is that is a way for our family members to check out early. So they actually don't stay in their body when they have dementia and Alzheimer's. They're actually mostly gone and they just come back every once in a while and like pop in their body for a little bit, but they're mostly gone. Their spirit is like gone and it's literally just the body. And that's why they have no memory, right? They've gone. They're checking out and they're just giving you time and the family time to adjust to them being gone. It's actually their way of trying to be very kind to you and not just get in an accident and just be gone. Here 1 minute, gone the next, right? They do it as like a way to try to be kind and have it go slow. So a lot of people think, oh my gosh, it's so awful to watch them have Alzheimer's and dementia and they can't do this and they can't do that anymore and they don't even know who they are. They're usually not even there most of the time anyway. Their soul is not. So there's nothing to feel sorry about. I hear this in my sessions. There's nothing to feel sorry about. They're choosing this, right? For someone else's growth, learning compassion, being able to take care of them, being able to be a caregiver, being able to learn love, giving, maybe let's say you and mom or you and dad who's got dementia or Alzheimer's, just really kind of ended things on bad terms and you kind of had a rocky relationship or she was abusive or whatever. Well, she's not anymore when she's got Alzheimer's and dementia, probably. I mean, there can be some angry ones out there. I get that, but they're totally different people and they're giving you a chance to soften your heart with love and compassion and helping you learn that before they pass on. They're actually doing that as a service to others around them. And it may not make sense to you of why they're going through Alzheimer's or dementia, because to you it looks painful. It's you got to look at things from a higher perspective. Got to look at it from a higher perspective. It's not how you see it. It's just not like that. Let me see. Team Light, hashtag Team Light. I love it. Yes. Who's part of Team Light? Let's do it. Thank you so much, Tracy. I'm honored to share your story and helping me. And so many people, said Linda. Oh, what are hand hearts? Linda said. Hand hearts are gifts on TikTok that you can give to the person on TikTok. You can give roses, you can give hand hearts. There's all kinds of things. I was looking through them today. There's like soccer balls and puppies and all kinds of stars. And there's like all kinds of things that you can give to people as gifts on TikTok. So that's what, when I say thank you for the heart or thank you for the hand heart, I set a goal of 20 hand hearts and I've got 11. And I'm going to be done very soon. So if anybody else wants to throw any hand hearts out there to meet my goal. But we have an important job to do, Gemini Moon said. We absolutely do. We do have a really important job to do for sure. Love your work. Thank you. I use energy in my neighborhood. Oh, said Bernadette. I love that. Yes. Oh, Yolaher gave me a hand heart. Thank you. And Moo gave me a hand heart. Thank you. Ooh, now we're at 13. 7 away. 7 more hand hearts to go. And then, let me see what else. Currently watching my grandma with dementia. Never thought of it this way. Totally different way. Whatever. Okay, let me tell you guys this. Whatever situation, this is why you need to be in my January class called Connecting to Your Higher Self. Okay, I'm going to be covering this stuff. Oh, thank you for the owl. Oh, we got an owl and we got a star on TikTok. See, I told you, thank you guys. There's like so many cool things that you can give on TikTok. In my Higher Self class in January, my 4-week class, it's open right now, wokelightworker.com. Go register if you want my early bird pricing. But we're going to cover so many ways that you can work with your higher self to transmute negative energy. But the main thing is to look at everything in your life from a different perspective. Because, oh, wow, that one's cool. What is that called? With the like globy thing in the heart. That was really cool. Thank you for that. We're going to look at things from and there's a llama. Everybody on YouTube, there's a llama with a rose in its mouth. That was adorable. I love that. That's so cute. Never saw that one before. We're going to look at things from a higher perspective. Hand heart, Graces. Thank you. Okay, gosh, another one. Okay, so now I'm at 80% for my hand hearts. And then here comes another one. Yes, 16 out of 20, 17 out of 20. Oh, I got it. I got 100. Yay! At 20, I mean, 100%. Yes, thank you guys. And now we got more. And then I got these crystal lights. So that was cool. Thank you, Graces, again for the hand heart. Okay, so let me get back on topic. Looking at things from a higher perspective. It doesn't matter what you are going through in your life. It doesn't matter. Take anything. There is always a higher perspective that you are not seeing. Always. And this comes with working with your higher self, with your spirit team, and being open to it and learning how to look for it and always asking, how can I see this situation from a higher perspective? You may get the answer right there, or it may come in a few hours, or it may come the next day, but you're going to get it soon. How can I look at this situation from a higher perspective? It's always going to come to you. And there is always, always a higher perspective that you can take. And then, because you always have a choice, everything is a choice. You can choose to look at a situation from a low frequency perspective, or you can choose to look at it from a high frequency perspective. It's your choice. The choice is made here between these two ears right here on you. I don't make ears, you make ears, right? So it's always made up here. That's where your choices are made, in your thoughts, right up here. And you're the only one that can take a feeling that you have, probably off of habit, and, oh, this is a sad situation. Why? Because it's always been sad, and it's sad when someone leaves you. It's sad when my boyfriend dumps you. Oh, heck no. Oh, Grace says, thank you for the stars. Wow, she's popping out the stars. Thank you. I think you're my biggest fan tonight. Always, the choice is yours, and you can always choose a higher perspective and not go on old thoughts and old beliefs. And that's why we need to reprogram our mind. We need to push out those old thoughts that are probably not even yours anyway. You adopted them from the people you grew up with, who are the ones now who don't probably want anything to do with you because you're in spirituality, because they want to stay in their low frequency ways, which is fine. It's their journey. Totally fine, right? We only help people who want to be helped. We don't try to help change anyone else who's not interested. That's casting your pearls before swine. That's another scripture I meant to bring up earlier. My team was giving me. Don't cast your pearls before swine. Your time and your energy are your most valuable things. Why would you throw them on the mud in front of a pig, a swine? I'm not calling mom or dad a pig, okay? It's a metaphor, okay? Why would you throw valuable pearls on the ground in front of swine who have no idea that it's valuable? They don't know what to do with it. They won't use it, and they're just getting trampled in the mud. And that's the Bible scripture. Don't cast your pearls before swine, who will just trample it in the mud anyway. So your time and your energy are your pearls. Don't throw them in the mud in front of swine. Don't do that. That's a waste. That's beautiful pearls you could be wearing around your neck. That's time and energy you could be giving to yourself, reading those spiritual books, meditating. Everyone's higher self tells them to meditate. That is your connection to spirit. Okay? And it doesn't have to be sitting in a chair going, right? You can be doing walking meditation. I meditate when I'm swimming laps in the pool. It could be while you're cleaning your house. It could be while you're taking a shower, while you're in a bath. I mean, anything. It's quieting your mind, being right here, right now, emptying your mind and being able to listen. And you can't listen if you've got the TV on. You can't listen if the radio's on. You can't listen if you've got video games playing. Right? You can't listen if you've got any of that going on. Quiet your mind. And that's why, again, in my journal, the Conscious Creators Daily Journal on Amazon, one of the things you want to do is have a little bit of meditation and quiet time. And then again, I said, thank you for the butterflies. I said, programming your subconscious mind, because that's where you grab your habits and your thoughts. 33 pages of affirmations in the back of my journal that you can use to reprogram your mind. Okay. So Conscious Creators Daily Journal on Amazon. Buy the accompanying course on my website, wokelightworker.com, because that is $11 for a really amazing 2-hour class that will teach you how to create a new life for yourself in 15 minutes a day. We're going to try to make it easy. And by the way, my spirit team channeled this journal to me. I can't take any credit for it. Of course, I had to design it and all that. Not the cover, but I designed everything inside. But they had me scratch it down on a paper one day at 3 a.m. They're like, take out a blank piece of paper as long as you're sitting at your desk working, when you're not supposed to be working this late anyway. But as long as you're awake, take out a blank piece of paper. So I did. And literally, I scratched down the entire page in just like a few minutes. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, wow, thank you. And they're like, now go publish it and take those affirmations that you have in your personal affirmation journal. Thank you, Instada. I can't read your name, but thank you for the roses. Thank you. Instadusty Walk. I think. I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong. And put those affirmations from your personal affirmation journal and put them in the back. So I have 33 pages of affirmations back there. But you want to not go from habit. You want to make a different choice every single time. Every single time you want to make a different choice. And look at things from a higher perspective, because there is a higher way to view it. Linda, who's on YouTube right now, the one I said I do sessions with her like every month and a half-ish, is we ask all kinds of questions about what's going on in the world. Like we learn some crazy stuff, crazy, cool, amazing stuff. But where was I going with that? Keep losing my train of thought when I go off on a bunny trail. I'll think of it in a minute. Sorry, guys. Oh, your 4-week course was amazing, Tracy. Thank you. Oh, you're so welcome. Yeah, wokelightworker.com. Guys, if my 4-week spiritual awakening bootcamp is not available yet for on demand, it will be within a week. But go there December 6th. So just next Tuesday, I'm teaching gaslighting, manipulation, and narcissism. And it's really inexpensive. And I have been studying many, many, many hours, and I have many more to go between now and Tuesday to put the perfect class together for you guys. So I hope you really appreciate it, because it's way more than 2 hours worth of work going into this class. I want to give you guys real value and share with you things you won't read in a psychologist book. You won't. Well, gaslighting and narcissism, I don't even think are in the DSM-5 manual. I don't think that. I know gaslighting's not in there for sure. I don't know if narcissism is, but the things I'm going to talk about that I've learned in higher self-hypnosis sessions is definitely not in any psychology journal or anything, because this is looking at it from the spiritual side and if they even have a soul and things like that. And it's varied, right? But, and then my connecting to your higher self class, so you can learn how to have a different perspective and not be stuck in low frequency energy all the time and low frequency emotions. You can register at Woke Lightworker for that too. That starts January 10th. That's 4 weeks. So it's on Tuesday nights. And you guys get to ask question and answer at the end. And I love it, because I totally am like, okay, team, I'm saying in my mind, okay, spirit team, here comes the question and answer. You better be all the way on, because I'm not answering these questions. So they got to come from you. So, and then the answers just fly out. I sit there and take just a second to listen to my team, what they're saying, and then I give you the answer. So I think everyone really liked the answers they got for the questions and answers in my Spiritual Awakening Bootcamp class. Oh, Ingrid, is that you? Oh my gosh. She said, check out my session on YouTube. I love Tracy's approach, and I love the narcissism parent kid. Oh, Ingrid's here. Okay, guys, I don't know if you probably weren't on earlier, Ingrid. At the very beginning of this live, I told everyone, go to my YouTube at Woke Lightworker on YouTube and watch Ingrid's session. It is mind freaking blowing. Right, Ingrid? It's mind blowing. My editor had to bleep out all her cussing at the end on YouTube because she was so blown away. Oh, you just found this live. Okay. Because Ingrid was so blown away by her session. Like, it just came out of left field. And neither one of us were prepared for what happened in that session. It was wild. And Ingrid has had PTSD. So you're going to see narcissism is involved there, PTSD. Like, that was a good session, guys. But listening to her past life, not really a past life, an other life, and why she's on planet Earth, it's really funny. So you got to watch her intake first. So part 1 is the intake, where you get to learn all about Ingrid, her life, because it's going to make way more sense when you watch her hypnosis session, which is part 2, if you've seen part 1, to hear all about her life and why she has PTSD. what happened, all the abuse she suffered, narcissism. So guys, sign up for my narcissism and gaslighting class December 6th at wokelightworker.com. It's super inexpensive and you'll get the replay. And if you want a higher self a higher self meditation to meet your higher self, I made one and you can just upgrade for just a little bit more and get that along with it too. You'll be sent that right away, I believe. Tony, hi. I talked to Tony today. We did she's there. I did a consultation call with Tony today and we had a really good talk. And she is from my home state, Wisconsin. And she actually lived and lives close now to where my uncle, who just passed away like a year ago, and my aunt still lives there, and one of my cousins with her 7 boys. Who has 7 boys anymore? My cousin. She does. She has her own little mini team. Yes. Ingrid said, yes, sign up. Trust me. Her session is amazing. Guys, you got to go to my YouTube channel and watch Ingrid's. I mean, they're all really good, but you got to watch Ingrid's because hers is my more recent work. And then my other recent work is going on Patreon. And then you go to patreon.com and then look under Woke Lightworker. That's my name on Instagram. That's my name on Facebook. That's my name on Pinterest, Patreon, website, everything. Woke Lightworker. Yeah, Ingrid, your session was insane. It was insane. Go watch it, guys. It's really cool. Like, you will never look at this type of thing the same again. And this is stuff you can't make, like, you can't make this up. Right, Ingrid? I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Like, that was just way out there and you would never know this. And I think in her session, I asked, like, how could she have ever known this? I can't remember if it was yours, Ingrid, or someone else, but I think it was yours. But I said, how in the world would you ever know this ever if you didn't do this? And the answer was, you wouldn't. So it's like, okay, like in the human realm, you wouldn't. Obviously, when you go in the spirit realm, you know all this stuff. But as a human, you wouldn't know this stuff. Ingrid said, absolutely, couldn't ever make it up. My ego was wanting to break through. Yeah, she said at the end of her session, for the last 40 minutes of her session, her conscious mind kept wanting to break through because she was so not freaked out in a bad way, but like what the heck was that she kept wanting the session to like be over so she could start talking and freaking out about it in a good way. But yeah, her conscious mind kept wanting to break out of the session so it could start talking and express itself. But then I kept it going for like another 40 minutes because I wanted to get all this good information. She said it was life-changing watching the session, but she only remembers 15 minutes of the 2 hours. Oh, wow. That's awesome. Yeah. And that's how you know when you're doing higher self hypnosis and you just don't remember. I mean, I can tell when someone's higher self is talking and when it's their ego, like, because I've done this so much, I can tell. But when you don't remember, that's when you know, like, you're definitely not making it up because you're like, where did that even come from? Tony said, I'm so excited. Yeah. Booked Tony for mid-December. So midnight's coming up, Tony. I'll be able to tell you exactly which date. So I have 2 people that haven't paid the rest of their balance. So you have to pay a deposit, a down payment to get on my calendar, and that's non-refundable. If you ghost me or cancel or don't pay your balance. And there's 2 people in mid-December so far that have not paid their balance. I give them until midnight. That haven't paid their balance. And if they don't pay their balance, they get bumped and they can reschedule another day, but they're not going to get their original date because my payment is always due 14 days prior to your session. And if I don't have it, then I do bump you. My assistant bumps you. And that's under strict instruction from me. My assistant bumps you and we pull someone off my waiting list, or Tony just happened to have her consultation call with me today. I do a free 15-minute phone consultation with people to see if this is a good fit for them. She did her phone consultation and I was like, hey, guess what? I'm pretty sure I'm going to at least have 1 day, if not 2, coming open mid-December. If you want the other date before we offer it to my waiting list, I mean, like, I just need to fill this thing like right now. And sometimes we've offered most people on my waiting list multiple dates and multiple sessions, and they haven't taken one yet. So If someone else comes along and does a consultation and I happen to have one open that day, I'll offer it to them. Otherwise, my next firm available date is like in March sometime. But that gives you time to meditate between now and then. Tony said I waited 5 months. Oh, Ingrid said she waited 5 months. It was worth it. Yeah, you did. You did, didn't you? I had people that scheduled like 8 months ago and just did their session. I had one, she did it like a week and a half ago. Oh my gosh, she's 25 years old. Her session was so good. It was so good. Totally makes sense that Tony, it's a business. Yes, you did say that. Yeah. So my spirit team, guys, when you have your own business, even if you're in the spiritual sector, let's say, okay, let me tell you this. It's really, okay, you're not a therapist. You're not a licensed, I'm not a licensed therapist, right? I'm not a medical doctor or anything like that. I use higher self. Your higher self is way better than any therapist and medical doctor, okay? Listen to these sessions. You will see these people getting advice that would take them years, if ever, to get in therapy, okay? Everybody can go their own route. I know there's a lot of wonderful therapists out there. Talk therapy didn't do the trick for me. It helped me a little bit when I was getting out of my really traumatic narcissistic situation from my first husband, because I probably would have killed myself after what I went through. It helped me from not going that route. But when I kept trying to heal from all of my other trauma, including that, talk therapy just couldn't get me there. I couldn't get there until I found spirituality. I could not get there. I tried. It's not for a lack of trying. I tried. I really gave it everything. Oh, thank you, Ingrid. She said hugs. Anyway, so yeah, talk therapy didn't get me there, but anytime you have a spiritual business, number one, I will say, oh, good Lord, I did not realize how much work it is having your own business. If you're trying to grow it, it's like so much work. Guys, I'm working now, right? I'm talking to you and it's super fun and I love it, but I'm working and it's almost 10 o'clock for me. And I've been going since 9 o'clock this morning. And I had an hour and 15 minutes for my lunch break. That's it all day, right? And I still have paperwork to do when I'm done. And I still have to walk my dog when I'm done. But I'm not complaining. Okay. I know I'm building this business. But there's two sides to your business, whether you're a therapist or you're a healer, something in the spiritual realm, there's two sides. And my spirit team has drilled this into me. I told you, like, my biggest teacher is my higher self. My spirit team is my biggest teacher. If you guys learn how to listen to your spirit team, oh my gosh, like you tap into just infinite everything, right? Everything. I mean, you're tapping into the God self that is you. I mean, they're a reflection of you. I mean, it's all one and the same. But they have drilled into me. There are two sides to this business. There's your spiritual, I love everyone, helping everyone side, right? But then there's also the business side. And you have to have both equally balanced, or one is going to rob the other, and then the whole thing will fall apart. You have to have them both. So when I have a policy that my payment is due, the payment is due in full 14 days prior to the session that you're going to do with me, a higher self hypnosis session, I mean it. I have to mean it. And my team has told me this. You have to mean it. Because if you don't have the business side running, you can't do the spiritual side, because this is my only source of income now. And I'm a single mom, right? I've got 4 pets and 3 kids, right? And so if I rob from my business side because I'm like, oh, it's okay. And then what I learned from experience is not everyone, but a lot of people, if they don't have the money 14 days prior to pay their balance, they're not going to have it 2 days before or 1 day before or the day of. And I mean, I'm business savvy enough to know we're not doing a session without payment. So it won't ever get to the day of and you show up. Your link would have been canceled, right? But even the day before, it's too late for me to find a replacement. And that's a whole day unpaid for me. I don't have vacation time. I don't have sick leave. I was working with COVID twice doing sessions, barely able to talk because I don't have sick leave. I don't have vacation. I don't have 401k. I don't have these things. You're self-employed. This is your business. You have to run it like a business. You can't. I had someone come and they wanted to do like a major discount. And I said, I can't. I now, because I'm growing my business, I have a staff. There's 5 of us. I can't pay my staff $5 a day to work for me. So I can give you a discount and then still support the money I need for my website and my YouTube and all these other, I have a spreadsheet full of expenses, It's running a business. You don't even think about all these things that are behind it. It's so much. And it seems like it should be a really simple business and not that difficult. It is a lot. If you're trying to grow it, it's a lot. And I'm only growing it because my team told me, my spirit team told me I had to grow it, that I have to be teaching these classes because I can reach more people. Oh, bye, Ingrid. Thank you, hon. I got to take my jacket off. Whew. I'm having a hot flash. Those are fun. Not. So if I do things like that, I can't. So instead, I offer low-cost classes. Like I said, wokelightworker.com. I've got a class for $11 on how you can create a life you want to live. $11 to help you change your life. I've got my journal on Amazon to go with that class. Conscious Creators Daily Journal, $19. Okay? It's not very much to work 15 minutes a day to change your life and start changing your life. And then I've got my Spiritual Awakening Bootcamp. It was $99 for 4 weeks. And each class took me approximately 10 hours between prep time and writing it and researching it to put 1 week together. Right? 10 hours. That's 40 hours of my time for $99 of knowledge and wisdom that I'm passing on to you. Right? So there's so much more behind it that people don't think of unless you're a business owner. You don't think of these things. How much time it actually takes, how much expertise, how many thousands and thousands of hours of courses and certifications and classes and reading and research and sessions that I've done to be able to bring this information to my clients. So when I understand and when someone understands their true value, it just means the other person just doesn't get it. They don't understand everything that's behind it. So when you are running, this is for anyone who starts a business, a spiritual business, any other business, you have got to know your value. And yes, do I offer low-cost things? These classes I offer are so cheap for the information that I'm giving you that will literally change your life. You would spend the amount of money from my higher self class to go to a concert. And that is not going to change your life at all. But connecting with your higher self, yeah, that's going to change your life in so many ways if you implement it. Right? So you have to take care of the business side and treat it completely like a business. And then your spiritual side is love and light and giving and all of that. But you cannot let that overpower the business side, because this is all that I do now. I dedicate my life to doing this now because my spirit team told me to. They told me when, the date, everything. They gave me a 3-month notice of when I was going to cold turkey quit my job. Actually 2 jobs because I was working 2 jobs. They told me the date. They gave me 3 months to prepare, and then they gave me a week off in between to clean my space and make it super organized because they wanted me to start it out on the right foot. And I listened and I did it. And within days, my calendar was booked 6 months out. Because number one, it's my purpose. Number two, I obeyed instantly with what they told me, and I knew how to hear from them because I had done the healing work. I had done all that heavy healing work. Not that I'm ever totally healed. I wouldn't have been crying earlier in this live if I was totally healed, right? So I've still got stuff that's painful, that, it's still there. I'm still working on letting it go, but I've done the heavy healing work, and I obeyed on all of that, and I did it. And I really took this stuff seriously. And so all this to say, again, if you have any kind of business, you have the service to others piece of it, but then it has to be run like a business, because if it's not, it's going to fall. If I let the business side fall and I can't pay my staff and I can't pay myself, then I have to go into the matrix and get a job again. And I'm just telling you, I can't go there again. Like, I cannot go there again. So my team knows that this is like, it's got to happen, because once I'm here, I'm not going back. Like, I'm too old to be doing that. I'm not doing that again. But, but that's what will happen. And then I can't help anyone else, because I'm not going to do that again, where I was building up my business, working 50 hours a week in my job, and then working another 25 hours a week building my business. Like, I'm not going to go through that again. So, so you have to have both sides, and you cannot not have the business side strong in order to be able to give more to people. That's where everyone needs to take personal responsibility. Personal responsibility. I said to myself the other night, I said, yeah, you don't know what you don't know, right? Amen, sister. Even if you try, you won't be able to get back on, right? Probably. I said to my team, I think it was last night, I was like, wow, my higher self class early bird pricing is like $249. And like I said, I'm telling you, that's cheap, because it's going to take me a minimum of 40 hours to put that class together. And that's not including the time I'm teaching the class and doing Q&A at the end. So that's a good 50 hours that I'm giving people for $249. But it's not just that. Again, it's the thousands of hours and trainings and sessions and everything that I have that I'm putting into that class that is the value on top of the 50 hours of my time. So I was thinking $249, holy cow, like, that is really cheap. But I remember a time that would have been out of my reach. I'm not joking. That would have been out of my reach to pay for a class for $249. It would have been out of my reach, because I was going to the grocery store with a calculator. And I'm not going to cry this time, guys, but I was going to the grocery store with a calculator, trying to figure out how I could get most of what I needed with the money that I had in my bank account so that it didn't go negative. $249 would have been out of reach for me. So I get it. So what I did instead, and this is where I'm talking about personal responsibility, what I did instead was, well, I can afford a $15 book on Amazon, right? So I bought that $15 book on Amazon. Okay, I can afford, like I said in the beginning, Marianne Williamson's book, Return to Love. I can afford that, whatever it was, $15 or $20 or whatever that book costs. Yeah, been there, right? Early bird special is still available. It's on wokelightworker.com. So if you want my early bird pricing, you got to go to wokelightworker.com, because after December 10, it's going up to normal price, which is $399. So it's going to cost you $150 more. And again, don't ask me to lower it. After that, I have to run my business as a business. Okay. We just got done talking about, you have to run your business as your business, or the business side fails and I can't provide sessions. I can't provide classes. I can't do these things. I told my spirit team, you have got to bring the people for these classes if you want me to continue teaching them, because I don't need this extra stress and this extra time, being taken up in my schedule. I already work 80 hours a week. Like, I'm not joking. Even with the staff of 4 other people, I still work about 80 hours a week. that you've got to bring the people in if you want these classes to continue to be taught. Because otherwise, I'm just going to go back to just doing sessions and I won't be able to reach as many people. So Spirit, if this is something you want to do, then you have to make it happen. And so that's one of my affirmations too, guys. I love this. If you guys are in business, this is a really good affirmation. Here it is. If you want to write it down. I partner with Spirit in all aspects of my business. And I'll repeat that in case you're writing it down or typing it in your phone. I partner with Spirit in all aspects of my business. I love that. How do you set an intention? Angie on YouTube said Ingrid's session was good. Plot twist. Yeah, right. Go to my YouTube channel and Woke Lightworker and watch Ingrid's intake. Got to watch her intake first. Watch her intake and then her hypnosis session. Total plot twist. 100% unexpected, like out of left field. Knocked us both upside the head. We're like, what the heck just happened? But I've had a lot of sessions like that. I've had a lot of sessions that totally come out of left field. And I'm like, woo, wasn't expecting that. Stuff you wouldn't know unless you did a session. For sure, you wouldn't know. Night, Tony. Talk to you soon. It will be cheaper to live in the Midwest. Hopefully. I wish I could afford that right now. I would love to be a spiritual coach. Okay, so let me go back to talking about that. Guys, I told you, even like a class for $249 was out of my reach at one point. But it wasn't out of my reach to buy Marianne Williamson's book, A Return to Love. And when I started living more in love and putting into practice what I was learning, and then it was like, okay, I can splurge on this other book for $15. Maybe it was another one of her books or a audiobook. More likely, I would spend $15 on Audible, so I would get 1 credit a month. And I would take that book and I would listen to it over and over and over and over. And I'd be like, okay, I can afford this 15. Yeah, it's really tight. I'm probably taking food off my kids' table, but I did it, right? Eat air, kids. I do want to be a breatharian though someday. I think that'd be really cool. Where you don't need to eat, you just get your energy from the universe. There are breatharians out there. But I'd buy Audible and then I would find all these different like podcasts and people I'd listen to on YouTube or Instagram, mostly YouTube. And then I would just start learning more and more and more. And the more I learned, the more I came into my power. And this second husband that I had been trying to shake off my leg for 7 years, who wouldn't let go. Thank you, Tawny Bauer, for the stars on TikTok. Thank you so much. Wow. Thank you. Because he was completely and totally holding me back and refused to join me on my spiritual journey. That was my journey, not saying you have to dump your spouse because they're not in this journey with you. Definitely make sure it's jiving with your intuition, but mine was screaming at me. And I know 100% absolutely I did the right thing anyway. But it gave me the courage to be in my own power and finally make that move after trying to do so for 7 years. And it was because of the inner work that I did on myself and the healing work I did on myself. And the many, many, many nights I was up reading books, spiritual books until 4 a.m. And then, like I said, my job before this, I was working as a realtor and a court reporter, but I would be in court almost every day. And you have a lot of waiting time when you're in court. I hate Care Bear.
Oh, you're so funny.
That's my daughter's here. Want to say hi? Say hi. Cherry's here, everybody. Chair Bear, my daughter Cherish. She's the one I said earlier, if you were on here earlier, that she's like on a soul level, spiritually, she's like way older than me. but she's my daughter in this life. Your eyes look dark. You have dark circles.
'Cause I
She
think-
didn't do any makeup or something. I don't know.
Well, I think it's because like I only have mascara a little bit.
Oh.
Like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
anyway, she's going through theta healing classes. She did level 1, she did level 2, and now she's taking level 3 this weekend. So super exciting that she's doing that. Do you love them? Theta healing with Beth Newman. Like I said, you guys, if you go take theta healing classes, go to evolveinyourenergy.com and tell Beth Newman that Tracy sent you. I want her to know that I'm referring people to her. Plus, I think sometimes she gives me a little discount on my future classes, which helps me gain in my knowledge and help everybody else, because then I get to share this information with you. So please let her know that I'm the one who referred you if you take a class. But she's amazing. Theta healing. Isn't it amazing? It's like you get so much healing in theta healing classes. I'm probably going to end up becoming an instructor, guys. So if you can't afford it now, it's like $440 for each class. And the prices are primarily set by the Theta Healing Institute. So I don't think there's a lot of leeway in the pricing. So start saving up, because those are really, really, really amazing classes. And they're like 3 days long. Some of them are 2 days long. Some are 3 days long. But you can get years worth of healing in one Theta Healing class. But now I forgot what I was talking about before that. Look at me. I always do that. I keep going off on all these tangents and then I forget. Let's see what people are saying. She said, I wish I could afford that right now. That's where I left off. Okay. So the more you change yourself inside, the higher your frequency is going to go, and doors are just going to start opening up for you. So like I said, $249 was out of my budget at one time, right? And so, but the more I did the things I knew I needed to do in my life and the changes I needed to make, and the more I raised my frequency, then I was attracting. I'm going to show you guys this image that I use a lot with everyone in my sessions. So let's say you, viewer, are the yellow pen, as in sunshine, bright like sunshine. And this is everyone else. I'm going to switch them around. This is everyone else. Pink is everyone else, and you're the yellow one. So let's say your energetic frequency, the frequency that you're emitting based on your emotions and your mood and everything like that, you're here. Just the frequency of your life in general. It can go like this, right? But you're primarily at this one space. You're attracting everything and everyone else at this same frequency, right? So if you don't like, and your physical environment is just a mirror, because remember, this is an illusion. This life is an illusion. You're an avatar. Everything you're seeing in your physical reality is a mirror showing you where your frequency is. Like, it's literally just a mirror showing you where you're at in your frequency. So if you don't like where you're seeing, that means you want to move your frequency up. Because when you move your frequency up, then you're attracting things at this higher frequency also, which is more abundance. I'll say better quality people, and there's no such thing as better quality people. So I hope you don't take it the wrong way. When I say better quality people, I mean people that are more healed themselves, that are of a higher frequency themselves. Okay. So then as you continue to read these books, listen to these teachings, listen to podcasts, take my classes, things like that, you move up and up and up. And now you're up here and you're attracting things of even a higher frequency. And so you're having this mirror reflect back to you what your frequency is. And so if you don't like what you're seeing in your life, it all starts in here, where you have to work on raising your frequency. If you did not take my Spiritual Awakening Bootcamp, week 4, we spent almost the entire class talking about frequency and raising your frequency and what you can do to raise your frequency and why you want. And I did this really awesome exercise at the end to teach you how to take your emotions, just like I did earlier in this. So if you missed it, you're going to want to go back on YouTube and watch the replay, because this is going to be posted, the whole thing, on YouTube under my live tab. on how you can raise your frequency and different exercises you can do to raise your frequency. Because if you don't like what you're seeing, if you can't afford this or that, or you're just like, gosh, I'm not in my purpose, I'm not living the life I know I came here to live, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, then, okay, hot flash is over. Now I get to put my coat back on. Okay. You're not doing what you know you're supposed to be doing. It starts with your frequency. You've got to get yourself to the place where you can be a match for that frequency. Okay. It's not saying, oh, I'm here. All of you things up here in this higher frequency, come down to me, please. And I'm going to manifest and I'm going to say all these affirmations and I'm going to attract all this stuff that's up here and I'm going to bring it down here to me. It doesn't work like that. That's why manifestation and saying affirmations and that can help you get your frequency up, but you got to work on your frequency because everything is energy in this illusion. It's all energy. There's no physical anything. It's all energy. You're just manipulating and playing with energy down here. And that's part of what you're doing. You're learning how to manipulate energy.
You have to start working on self-affirmations first before
that's
manifestations of outside external things too.
Yeah, 100%. You want to be, it's the change starts in you. So just like, what is it? Gandhi said, be the change you wish to see in the world. Be the change you wish to see in your world. Right? Hi, baby. My husky's here. He just got back from his girlfriend's house. He has a husky girlfriend. Don't you, baby? He has a husky girlfriend. Her name is Callie. Oh, shoot. Turn it off. Turn it off.
What's for dinner?
Give me a minute.
What's for dinner?
Chicken soup. I'm making chicken soup for dinner. Hold on. I'm going to finish it in just a little bit. Guys, I lost track of time. It's 10:13. Can you believe? Okay, don't give me the bad mom award, but I haven't fed my kids yet. So I probably need to end this and go feed my kids because I have chicken soup cooking on the stove and I forgot about it because I'm so busy working. Yes, I can be a space cadet. Wow. Yes. Okay. Pendulums. I'll just answer this question quickly. Pendulums, if you're using a pendulum, you just want to make sure that you absolutely protect your space. You want to cut all cords again, all these things are listed in my Conscious Creators Daily Journal. You can get on Amazon and on my YouTube channel. Learn how to do this by going under my live tab at Woke Lightworker on YouTube. And it's called the 4 Must Do's Every Day. So that one. But you want to completely shield your space, clear your energetic space and shield yourself. And then, of course, only your team, beings of the highest light, are allowed to come in when you're using a pendulum. And then I asked someone's higher self once, I asked, is there a certain type of pendulum that works better than others? Because some people will be like, oh, you need a wood pendulum. So I remember I was in Sedona looking all over at all these spiritual shops trying to find a wood pendulum. And do you know how hard those things are to find? You can find them, but they're not easy because they're always like crystals and all kinds of other things. So I asked this person's higher self, I'm like, does it have to be like a particular kind of pendulum? And it was so funny. This is a client's higher self who was like hilarious and had me laughing so much during the session. And his higher self said, you could use a fish on a string. It doesn't matter. It's the intention. So you just set the intention like, okay, this is my pendulum. And that's what intention is. I'm using this as my pendulum and it's going to read my energy, read the energy around me and give me the answer. And I'm protecting my space and I'm putting big angels around me. And, only beings of love and light get to speak through this pendulum, my team, only my spirit team through this pendulum and my energy. And so, thank you, Tracy. Good night, said Wild Interior Woman. Good night. My necklace is silver, no crystal or wood. It seems to be working. Oh, nice. I keep asking the same questions, thinking they're getting annoyed. There is no such thing as asking too many questions or of too much help of your spirit team. They always say that. You need to ask, ask, ask. We have not. Here's another scripture. We have not because we ask not. And today, again, in her session, her higher self said, I asked something like, well, why hasn't this been done prior? Why didn't her higher self just do this prior? Oh, to release the narcissist from her life, her ex-husband. I'm like, why couldn't you just do this prior? And her higher self was, because she didn't ask. Like, she has free will. This is her journey. She gets to do it the way she wants. So a lot of people ask, why doesn't our higher self just do these things? Because it's your journey. So your ego gets to be in charge as long as you want it to be in charge, until you decide, yeah, I don't really want my ego to be in charge anymore. I kind of would rather have my higher self be in charge. And we're going to cover that and way more on living as your higher self and not as your ego anymore in my January class, connecting to your higher self. So go to my website, wokelightworker.com, to register if you want the early bird pricing, because in December 10th, it goes up to my regular pricing. So instead of $249, it's going to be $399. And there's gift cards. So if you guys want to ask your family for an early Christmas present, you can always have them get you a gift card on my website, and then cover the course if you don't have the money for it. So you can ask for it as a gift. Ask for your gifts early or wait until you get closer, wait till Christmas, and then take the money and pay the $399. Rita, I love watching you. I've learned so much. I'm signed up for that class. Yes. Oh, yes. Forrest Fisk. I hope you saw that I answered your question on a TikTok the other day. I come from a Christian background too. I was telling earlier, I don't know if you heard it earlier, if you just jumped on, but I come from, well, first it was Catholic. No, first it was like, I think non-denominational. Then I went to a Catholic church for years. Then we went to a Baptist church for years. And then in my first marriage, I found charismatic Christianity and was a charismatic Christian goer for years, all of my adult life, until I found spirituality. Thank you for the insight. Would I have to do the same or similar protection for a pendulum when using oracle cards? I would absolutely say so, 100%. Yes, thank you. You're welcome, Forrest. So do I. You resonate with me so well. Okay, guys, remember, gaslighting, manipulation, and narcissism. Go to my website right now and sign up for it. It's Tuesday, but you're going to get a replay. So if you can't be there live, get my replay. Super cheap for the money and time and effort and work we've put in on the website and paying my staff for this. You guys are getting a bargain. That's December 6th. Go to wokelightworker.com to sign up for that. I'm going to share things with you that you will not read in any psychology journal about narcissists. But we're also going to talk about what their traits are to look at if you're dating. Yeah, run the other way. If you see any of these, don't even give them a second chance. Seriously. And then what to do if you're involved with one, or you're trying to recover from one, or if you're co-parenting with one. And then in January, connecting to your higher self. That is like the key class. And then February is radical self-love. If you do not 100% totally love yourself, you are missing the boat in terms of healing and growth. Missing the boat. You definitely want to be in that February class. And March is that nothing is incurable. Healing yourself. We will go through healing. And April is let's heal that sheet. Living your life in joy and peace. Because I totally have so many different things to share with you guys in that class. I was thinking about making it 6 weeks, but we'll jam it into 4. But there's so much you can do to live in so much more peace. And a lot of it involves working with your higher self. So you want to take the higher self class first and then take these other ones. I kind of have them in order that way. But anyway, so go to wokelightworker.com to register for all my classes. I hope to see you guys there. I pour my heart and my soul into these classes. And if you're interested in a higher self hypnosis session, you can schedule a consultation call with me, again, at wokelightworker.com. You can see my sessions and my video, the 4 must-dos every day, on YouTube at Woke Lightworker, and more sessions on patreon.com, Woke Lightworker. And you can see cool posts that my social media manager does with lots of my stuff on Instagram that I just love. She does an amazing job. And on Pinterest. And join my Facebook group, because you'll get class announcements on my Facebook group. Same thing, Woke Lightworker. It's Woke Lightworker across the board. So thank you guys so much. Big kiss to everyone. Thank you so much for spending the night with me. I didn't mean it that way. Thank you for spending the evening with me. Thank you for spending the evening with me. And I hope to see you all in my upcoming classes. Don't forget Narcissism, December 6th. Go to wokelightworker.com. And you can watch the replay of this if you missed any of it on YouTube. go to my live section. As soon as it's done processing with YouTube, they'll post it under my live section. So you can go watch the whole thing there. I shared so much tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Thank you for all your good nights. Oh, my higher self class came up as page not found. Are you kidding me? Well, good thing it is the middle of the day in the Philippines, because I am going to get in touch with my operations manager immediately and get that up and running. So guys, hold tight. If it says page not found, go right back to Woke Lightworker in a little bit. I'm going to get on the phone to him and get that page up and running. If it's not, maybe try a different web browser too. Maybe it's just your web browser, but I will verify and see if it's not working. And I'll make sure it's up very, very shortly, because again, the early bird pricing ends December 10 on my higher self class. Okay. I love all of you guys. Thank you for spending the evening with me. And I hope you all have an amazing evening.